two, one. Yo, everyone. Welcome to Filmmaker Mike and the boys. Joining me for this episode is Sequestered Jester,
Hey, everybody.
Pinhead,
What's up?
and Kuya.
Hello.
Alrighty, so we've got quite an episode chock full of stuff to talk about.
Oh
Man,
boy.
This past week has been quite a week. Actually, not just the week, more like Wednesday, the middle of the week, hump day. Lots of stuff going down. Like, my goodness. So to start things off, earlier that day we got Joss Whedon basically back in the news as far as Charisma Carpenter, a former cast member from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, coming out to speak up about how she was treated and in support of Ray Fisher, who has been standing his ground for, it seems like, a year now, since last year. And then, of course, you've got other cast members. Sarah Michelle Gellar chimed in as well. And then Michelle Trachtenberg. But the bigger news that day, believe it or not, was something that really came as a surprise. Because as far as, Gina Carano in The Mandalorian, if you've been following the news for a while now, especially since last year, she's been making the news for a bit with some of her controversial tweets or posts on social media. But man, that day, Wednesday, they announced, so this is from Variety.com. So they announced that Lucasfilm and UTA is the talent agency, if I'm not mistaken, that previously worked with Gina Carano. So Lucasfilm, UTA dropped Mandalorian star Gina Carano following offensive social media posts. I just want to be clear, it's not post, it's posts. So it's not just one post. So this is written by Daniel Holloway. Gina Carano is, quote, not currently employed by Lucasfilm, end quote. The company said in a statement Wednesday after controversy erupted over the Mandalorian star's social media posts. UTA has also dropped her as a client, Variety has confirmed. So the statement goes, quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future, end quote. A Lucasfilm spokesperson said in a statement, quote, nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable, end quote. Okay, so Carano shared several offensive posts on her Instagram stories Tuesday night, including one that likened contemporary political differences to the treatment of Jews in Nazi Germany. Okay, so here's the quote from her caption. It says, quote, Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children, end quote. Carano wrote on Instagram, quote, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? End quote. And that post originated on a different Instagram account. And then in another post, Carano shared a photo of a person wearing multiple cloth masks with the caption, meanwhile, in California. And of course, so one of her previous posts on, I think last year, pretty much she was basically stating that she was anti-mask. And there were also, if I'm not mistaken, one or two, maybe a few, conspiracy theories that she was sharing out there on her social media. So aside from, of course, getting on the nerves of a lot of transgender people from one of the posts. So it says here, both posts were gone from Carano's Instagram by midday Wednesday. Other posts, including one in which Carano wrote, "Jeff Epstein didn't kill himself," end quote, remained. So she pretty much, it was like this word search that when you read through it, like you can pick out the words and it says, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, which we all know. We've seen on social media lots of people sharing memes. And then, of course, the hashtag Fire Gina Carano began circulating on Twitter Wednesday in response to her posts. Many users tagged Lucasfilm and corporate parent Disney in their posts. Carano is no stranger to controversy on social media. In November, she was criticized for mocking people who specify pronouns when she updated her Twitter bio with beep, bop, boop, which she later removed. In December, Lucasfilm announced Rangers of the New Republic, a direct spin-off of The Mandalorian that seemed to suggest a path for her character, Cara Dune, a former rebel trooper who had become a marshal for the New Republic, on the show. Lucasfilm has not yet announced a cast for the new show, however. All right, so that's it from Variety.com. So of course, when this news broke out, I was shocked, but then again, not so much, because it was for me personally, it seemed like it was bound to happen, because this wasn't her first offense. She kept pushing, she kept pushing and pushing. And then, of course, recently there was like a post or a piece supposedly that I read that Jon Favreau was fighting to keep her on the show. Whether that is true or not remains to be, because it wasn't from an official, news source or like a trade in the entertainment industry. But then when you think about it, because someone told me on social media, like as I was commenting about, like pretty much what I would comment was that, she was given so many chances. Favreau fought for her. And, had she respected what he did for her and that he backed her up, then she wouldn't have been fired, plain and simple. And then someone said, well, where's that from? And I was able to find a news source, but it's from a Disney site, fan site. And then the person said, oh, that's lies, that's fake news. And then I thought about it, and I pretty much replied back and I said, well, okay, maybe that's not true. But if you look at the logic, The Mandalorian, single biggest show of last year with season 2, does it not make sense for the showrunner, Jon Favreau, to avoid controversy, keep his cast, and not have to let go of anyone, especially a character that he created, Gina Carano? It would make sense that he would have fought for her to keep her on the show. And that, why would they want to, they created characters for the show. And yes, The Mandalorian is not focused on Cara Dune, but we've seen her in how many episodes now? Fans seem to I like the character, fans seem to enjoy the character and like the character, this powerful and strong female character, former rebel trooper who is a survivor from Alderaan. So it just makes sense that they wouldn't want to lose this person, right? Like why? So of course it would make sense that Favreau would fight for her. And then but yeah, unsurprisingly for me personally, she kept pushing the boundaries, and you know what? Disney can only take so much. And in her case, she was really lucky because, with the previous controversy from November, she could have gotten the boot then, but she didn't, right? And then of course, why not? Then logic would only suggest that there must have been stuff going on, behind the scenes that Favreau was fighting to keep her on. And then we also know that the upcoming spin-off show, Rangers of the New Republic, could have potentially starred her in the lead. So before I pass it on to you guys, I want to just read a few more things. So this is from, hold on. So I saw this on Twitter. This is from @BenOffTV. So he tweeted, side note on hashtag Gina Carano, okay? He said, he tweeted, I work in PR. A major company doesn't use a word like abhorrent, quote unquote, abhorrent, unless someone high up is royally pissed off. That word can end a person's whole career. And coming from Disney, and the fact that her talent agency, as I mentioned, UTA dropped her, it just might have. Okay, so this is coming from someone who works in PR, and he specifically pointed out the word abhorrent. And then one more thing. So this is from Joseph Kahn from Twitter, who is he's a director. He's directed a bunch of music videos. He's worked with Britney Spears and many other singers and musicians.
It's the Chinese guy, right?
Yeah. So he tweeted. He had a few tweets. So this was one day. So this was I think this was yesterday. So his first tweet, he said, "The minute someone in the arts is gleeful about censoring speech, my respect for them plummets. The open expression of ideas, good or bad, is the job. I am an absolutist on free speech, with nuance being whether the speech is meant to violently harm in real world terms. The right and the left often use terrible analogies about Hitler. It's obviously meant to paint the other side with endgame of quote unquote fascism, another flexible word that depends on their complaints. There is a bit of irony coming from the right, though, since they actually do have Nazis on the right. They're called, quote, neo-Nazis, unquote. So a more culturally accurate analogy to paint the left would be to call them Maoists. However, in America, no one is informed enough about the 100 million dead Chinese Mao's communist revolution killed. So it has no punch. If Carano compared the censorship of the left to the Chinese Communist Revolution, she would have been branded as xenophobic. Other continents are a no-go. It seems the right have little room to make insulting historical comparisons except other bad white people who are Nazis. She should have just made Star Wars analogies with its own fictionalized Nazi metaphors, Empire, stormtroopers, etc. It was sitting right there. So that's it. That's
Who said that?
Joseph Kahn.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. I am like extremely sad about this whole situation, if I'm being completely honest. This is a big bummer. Joseph Kahn, interesting. Yeah, I was trying to think of how I was gonna say how I felt about this whole situation, and like that guy was very insightful in how he speaks. So we briefly talked about her incident with the LGBT community, podcast episodes ago, and how they wanted her to change her pronouns on her bio. And I specifically remember reading her full response multiple times because I was like really trying to see where she was coming from. And the only thing I saw that was really unwise about her comment back, her response back, was that she changed her response, or she changed her bio to beep bop boop as like a joke, right? Like she's just trying to be funny. And I understand it was just a joke, but it was the thing that I felt they were looking for to try to tear her down, to start the tearing down. And while it was definitely a joke in poor taste, her post was very much like, I'm against bullying and I just don't really want to change my pronoun because that's just not me, and then she made that dumb joke. And I was like, okay, I don't really see a problem with it because I understand where she's coming from. And I felt like they were just looking for a problem with her to tear her down. And then we go on to the mask situation, which Mike brought up. That was in that Vanity article, right?
Yeah, in Variety they mentioned it, the double mask, because now, of course, with a new variant,
Yeah.
CDC and of course the science are suggesting that it's more contagious. Double
Right.
masking or getting a better mask might be the better option to go with.
Mhm.
So
Okay, so with that one, I guess I'll go on to that one. My opinion on that, I am not a huge fan of the masks. Like, I have my own personal opinion on the masks. Do I wear them in public? Yes. I do what the mandate tells us to do because it's a mandate. I should just follow it. It is what it is. I wear them at work. I wear them out and about, but I understand the hatred towards people that share their anti-mask opinions, and I don't know, man. In my opinion, we should be able to share things like that without this evil mob, like going at us for questioning these things. I feel like I'm allowed to question stuff while still following the mandates and the protocols and the things we're supposed to do. I'm still allowed to ask questions. That's what's nice about being able to live here in America. We're allowed to ask questions and, have these thoughts and be able to talk like this on the show.
So
Mike, you want to say something?
if I can interrupt you right
Yeah,
there.
of course. Yeah.
I think it's beyond that, because she also shared conspiracy theories, and I think it's when someone's anti-mask, like you said it, you don't like the mask. I mean, even when it started, I didn't like. I'm just used to it, right? But
yeah.
Now that it's cold, I'm okay. But when it's summer, man, it's tough. It gets hot, right? You get sweaty and everything. It's one thing to not like wearing the mask, but you still do it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's another thing once you're going anti-mask, because it's not just anti-mask, you're projecting your anti-science. And right now, being anti-science with everything going on is something that a lot of people react to, even me personally, because I mean, I'm no scientist. My wife is a nurse. She's a professional. She's been working for years. And I'm not saying she knows everything, but she sees ground zero. You know what I mean? She sees what's going on with what's going on right now. And not just her, family and friends work in the medical field, all these things. So I think it's beyond the answer. It's one thing to not like wearing masks, but you still do it anyway. It's another thing to go anti-mask. And then going back to the beep boop bop joke that she said, she deleted it later on. So
I understand.
That's telling to me. If you're gonna make a joke and you say it's a joke, leave it up there. Who the fuck cares, right?
Yeah, but I would say that Disney probably told her, or Lucasfilm probably told her to take it down because of the response.
Probably.
And that would be strike number one, right? If we're looking at it like this, strike number one, beep up, boop, strike number two, masks.
Yep.
3 strikes, you're out with Nazi post. And Mike, like I am not I mean, I know you weren't saying that, but I am not anti-science.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say, like, science is also very much asking questions and figuring out the next thing, right? Right. Let's just say right now, masks is the way to go. But through let's just say, I'm just saying, completely just winging it. 10 years down the line, we're like, yo, the science now tells us that masks weren't the greatest thing, or it wasn't really helping all that much. I'm just saying that science is very much asking questions, figuring out the next problem, learning new things every day. So conspiracy theories is another thing too, because it's like, if you're going to share a conspiracy theory, please for other people, please make sure, big bold letters, big fat conspiracy theory, just my thoughts. Like, you know what I mean? I just want to be able to say, like, yo, I got a conspiracy theory. This is kind of interesting. But people go too far, and this is where Mike's point. People go too far and then like make it like a religion. You know, like this is my belief, this is my everything. And it's like, why can't it just be like a question? Yeah, that's an interesting conspiracy theory. Let me just kind of keep that in the back of my mind while I keep moving forward and, you know, doing what I need to do. With the Nazi thing, I saw her point. Was it done right? No, it wasn't really appropriate. It's kind of dumb. Should have chose another analogy, please. I understand why Lucasfilm fired her. It's bad publicity. She's fortunate enough she got 3 strikes. Mike said it. She's like super fortunate she got 3 strikes. A lot of other people that's been canceled in the past, it was like one joke from 10 years ago and they're booted. You know, it's like, it's scary, man. It frightens me. And she was fortunate enough to do that. And I wish that she listened to her employer. When we all work for a business, we can't just do whatever the hell we want. We have to follow their rules. And if they give us a strike, we're like, okay, and then don't do it again. You know, and like Mike said, she took that post or that bio down, probably strike number 1, all the way to 3 strikes. I don't know, man. It just, the hate she's getting online is like really scary to me, and it's really sad. And I understand where people are hurt and like coming from, but I just really, I really wish we could just talk to each other like we talk on this show. And like, you know, we all allow ourselves to be able to communicate and ask questions with each other and then share, hey man, like Mike was doing with me. Well, you know, I think this, or I think that. And I'm like, oh, you know, that makes me think new thoughts that I didn't think before. You know, and I really wish we could do that instead of just like, just fire, get her out of here. This is stupid, boot her. It's like, where's the grace for people anymore? You know? And even maybe, I don't know, Carano. Maybe she needs a little grace for the people around her, you know? Maybe not do the jokes, maybe not consider other people's feelings, or maybe consider other people's feelings before she just says stuff. I don't know, man. That's just where I'm coming from. What do you guys got?
Pinhead.
You can go, clear.
I worked under the family of the Caranos in Reno, and Mike and I were talking, or Mike mentioned something like, you know, you can get fired for less in that family.
So I just want to clarify that in the local news station, one of the local news stations here on their Facebook, they shared the article that Gina Carano was fired from Lucasfilm/Disney, and one of their previous employees commented, like, I worked for the because for those listening, the Caranos basically here own several casinos, hotel, luxury resorts, casinos, right? And I also worked for one of those. But anyway, one of the people that commented on one of the local news stations that shared the article commented and said, I've worked for the Caranos in the past, and I've seen some stuff, and they have fired people for much less. So that was the comment of the person. Yeah.
So, you know, and you know, my take on it is the family is very affluent, they're very rich. They're used to like saying what they want and not getting punished or not getting critiqued about, just because that's their thing. Maybe this is just like how she is as a personality. Like she speaks her mind, and she speaks what she believes in, and she all of these things that she thinks, like, you know, it's worth mentioning. The issue I have is nowadays, any sort of celebrity status that you have, whether it be like in the most popular show on Disney Plus the last couple of years, or like one of the most popular shows, one of the more seen shows. It doesn't have to be. People don't even have to follow what the Mandalorian was, but everybody knows what the Mandalorian show was all about. You're gonna get a lot of fans. You're gonna get a lot of people following your social media. You're gonna get a lot of influence. So whether you like it or not, you're gonna be an influencer. Um, a lot of things that people that with this kind of clout, this kind of popularity, they do it for good with good causes. You know what I mean? They share their feelings, they share their thoughts. Some people will agree, some people will disagree with them, but that's the end of it. That's pretty much that's the end of whatever the conversation is. Um, the the issue that happened for Gina is unfortunately it's work related. She was already warned. But I'm assuming because of the controversy that she'd had in previous posts. Um, even me, like like we have like at work we have we have in our employee manuals we all of us should have something that says what you post, like please don't post anything about, against this company, that company, or our company, or please don't mention anything like that. If you're gonna be political, then just whatever, do a political post and that's fine.
That's your own opinion, not
That's
the
your own
company's.
yeah,
Yeah, it does not
exactly.
represent the company. Right.
So don't put it on official channels. Like for example, I'm gonna kill the if you write I'm gonna kill the president on a memo that has your your company's uh logo on it or whatever, then that's a bad thing because it's bad publicity for them. So like people that have like some social media access or anything like that, like almost everybody has like a Twitter. Almost everybody has a Facebook account, TikTok or whatever. Like you just try your best to just like just not throw people under the bus in that sense, because you're gonna end up getting thrown under it either, yourself. And like what Disney or whoever the higher ups that decided this, they just had it. They were done. They were just done with the controversy. They were done with all of these people tweeting or sending messages saying you need to fire this girl because she's toxic, all that stuff. You've been given so many, that like I'm sure like they pulled her aside and say, hey, you know what, we understand this is your belief, this is what you're thinking, this is all of these this is what what you want to share, but your brand is related to our brand now, and this might not be a good thing. You know what I mean? So like we just want you to like tone it down or keep it separate, keep it something, but go ahead and do that. Now, I agree with you, Jester, that things like this get blown out of proportion. Cancel culture is very cancerous. It's hostile. I
Yeah.
hate it. Uh,
Hmm.
the examples of episode 8 and 9 of the Star Wars sequels.
Yeah.
It itself, it's fucking ridiculous. They wanted to crucify the directors. They wanted to crucify the writers. They wanted to crucify the actors and all that stuff because it's not that it's not what they expected. It's not whatever.
Yeah.
And there's good things and bad things in regards to that. Um, Politically speaking, it doesn't matter if if an actor says that like he worships the devil, uh, and and all this stuff, and his or her political beliefs is this and this and this and this. At the end of the day, all I care about is how his character portrays on the screen. That's
Right.
for me. That's
Yeah.
just my personal
I
thing.
agree, man. I do.
If I disagree with them politically or whatever their belief is,
Yeah.
then that's my disagreement with them.
Yeah.
I will still I will still try my best to to understand where they're coming from, because that's what's needed, is because we need understanding.
Yeah.
Like all the issue nowadays, unfortunately, is everybody yelling at each other that you're wrong, I'm right, I'm
Yeah.
right, you're wrong. And for the most part, both arguments are wrong in a sense.
Yeah,
So
it's unhealthy, man. Like it's
yeah,
not good.
yeah. So for me, instead of a lot of people put themselves in a situation where uh they acknowledge a certain idea, and that they believe it in so much that it becomes their belief, it becomes their mantra, that it becomes their issue.
Yeah.
That's their thing. Like, oh, um make America great again. I understand.
Hmm.
Like, that's the greatest, that like I hope that every day Americans would want to make America great.
Right. Yeah. But when it
But
comes to religion,
but again, the issue is, like, they went about it the wrong way.
yeah.
That's the issue.
Yep.
um Going to the other opposite side of things, Black Lives Matter. Yes, they do. Do all lives matter? Yes, they do. But the issue is, it's not, we're not trying to say that Black lives are more important than everybody else's. We're just saying that these people are hurting right now,
Yeah.
and that we need to understand where they're coming from, and they need they need tender loving care, they need TLC, they need hands on, they need hugs, they need our help to raise them up, because
Yeah.
at this point they're not at the same level as some people. Do blue lives matter? Yes. All these things, but accountability for when it comes to the cops is the key.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
again, the anything that people believe in should not be a belief. It should be an idea. And I sent Mike a quote from the movie Dogma. um Chris Rock is Rufus, and Bethany, and he's having a conversation. So he's talking about, Bethany's asking, like, oh, do you knew Jesus because you're the last disciple.
Hmm.
And um Rufus says, like, and this is the quote: Jesus still digs humanity, but it bothers him that the shit that gets carried out in his name, wars, bigotry, televangelism, but especially the factioning of all religions. He said humanity took a good idea, and, like always, built a belief structure on it. And then Bethany, the person, asked, having beliefs isn't good. And then Rufus said, I think it's better to have ideas. You can change an idea. Changing a belief is trickier. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
So, like, it's a lot easier. Oh, I have an idea that this should be it. No, your idea, it needs more improvement. Okay, then let,
Hmm.
let me change it. Whatever. But if I say, oh, I believe this, and then when you
Yeah.
when you say you're wrong, like, your belief structure is wrong, you're attacking me as a person, and you're attacking my soul, you're attacking
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening with the cancel culture.
Yeah.
So, and again, I do not condone what Gina compared, the plight of one side of the political faction
Right.
to
Right.
to the plight of the Jews in Nazi Germany. I do not condone that. That's a lot of hurt. That's a lot of deaths, and people are still recovering from that hurt.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I do not have any problems with the her 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 bosses, the people that hired her to play a part, from letting her go. I don't have any problems with that.
Hmm.
I have issues with people saying, all the bad things, like, oh, she deserves all these things. Yeah, in a sense she did, because she got punished for what she said. But that's it. It should be, that's it. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
No more, no more adding onto it. No more egging on. No
Right.
more, no more uh prodding the open wound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on the matter. And yeah, that's it. Pinhead.
I don't have much to say about it. I'll say this: right off the bat, I do hate cancel culture. I think it should be eradicated off the face of the planet.
True.
It's garbage. It doesn't get us anywhere. It gets us absolutely nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You think
Yeah.
that's helping? You're a fucking fuckwit. However, there's a little bit to go a long way where you can just shut the fuck up and do do your job and shut the fuck up. You might not lose shit if you just do your job and shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
And not for nothing, we got into the political, and she brought it up too. Everybody's brought it up. I'm gonna have to do it as a biracial child who's actually faced racism through my childhood, and I faced it harshly. It was very disgusting. I'm not gonna go into. I don't care. I'm not gonna have a tale of woe for a white woman during Black History Month. I'm not doing that. That's why I'm not gonna really inject my part in this conversation, and I'll do something in promoting a Black film down the line when we go through this episode, like Judas and the Black Messiah. But I'm not gonna cry a tale of woe for a white woman who lost her job for not shutting the fuck up during Black History Month. I'm not doing it. So that's my opinion. A little goes a long way. Next time, for anybody, and this is for all celebrities, this is why a lot of us don't like you, is because you just can't shut the fuck up. This is on both sides. You guys just can't learn to shut the fuck up and do your job. And that's why a lot of the things happen to you like they do. And then you go, huh, why is this happening to me? Because you can't shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, so I do want to add, I took these screenshots a few earlier this week, right around that time. I think this may have been Wednesday night, as people, of course, social media was on fire, of course, on either side, whether they cheered that she was fired or that they, a lot of people. I also want to mention immediately that night, hashtag cancel Disney Plus was trending on Twitter, with lots of people who were claiming. There was around 25,000 tweets, but of course not all of those tweets were specifically meant, or like were people expressing that they were canceling the Disney Plus. Some people were, of course, arguing against it. Like, why, like, if you don't like cancel culture, they were saying, why are you canceling your Disney Plus? Because Gina Carano got fired, so I do want to mention that. So a couple more screenshots. So this is, some comments that I read through that I thought were interesting. So this is from Jeremy, breaking down the first paragraph of her actual comments. So the quote was, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, ... but by their own neighbors, even children, end quote. So this is Jeremy's explanation. First of all, that's false. If she meant, quote, German soldiers, I guess she could be right, because they were by and large not members of the Nazi party. The brown shirts who beat Jews in the street were most definitely Nazi soldiers. Second, I'm pretty sure the photo in her Instagram post is a woman from an area occupied by the Germans being chased through the street after the war for collaborating or sleeping with Nazis. Okay, and this one was from Steven, who replied to Jeremy's comment, and he said, it's a really bad explanation of events, that's for sure. Given that after 1935, Germany was a one-party state, you can technically argue that all German citizens at the time were Nazis to some degree or another, even if they didn't share the NSDAP's ideology. Jews and others were denied citizenship. It also sounds like she's referring in part to the Hitler Youth who were indoctrinated into party ideology, who I can well believe were aggressively active in pursuing the party's policies enacted through the Nuremberg laws. So, and that's the thing, like with this, like, I'm not saying I know all of history. I mean, I was always fascinated with history in school, but of course there's still so much to learn, and it doesn't mean that was it, right? We never stop learning. So every time I come across, like, when something big like this happens, I always like to, of course, do my own research and learn, and also see what other people are saying. So I just thought those were interesting. And then, yeah, I mean, you have, that night. So another person tweeted. So this is from Rose. She tweeted, "Legend has it, hashtag cancel culture was once called, quote, consequences for your actions, unquote. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it." So it was kind of a Lord of the Rings mention there. But yeah, I mean, there's cancel culture where, like, one and you're done, and then I also see the perspective of the what she was saying, where you have to be accountable for your actions and what you say.
I mean, like, if people are trying to say, like, not everybody in 1935 Germany or in World War II Germany are Nazis, uh, that's true. That could be true, but you weren't there to fight against it.
Right.
There was only a handful of people that were trying to help their Jewish neighbors out, and
Right.
if they get caught, they get punished too.
Right.
So they chose not to help them out. So are you gonna be? Are you better? Are you better as because you're not a Nazi? You're not a Nazi. You're not part of the Nazi party, or you're just a regular German citizen, or are you worse because you know that what they're doing is wrong, yet you didn't do anything about it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
No, and that's where
Accountability again is the thing that I want to address here. A lot of people want to cancel the police, right?
yeah.
Because of the stuff that's been happening in our country. I've in my life, throughout my life, I've met some really great cops, and throughout my life, I've met a lot of bad cops, and I cannot count in two hands. I cannot anymore the number of times I got pulled over because my head is bald or my head is shaved. I have a
Yeah.
beard. I look, I look like somebody that did something. I guess I don't know. So they pull
Yeah.
they pull my ass over.
Yeah.
Give me the business. I let them do their thing.
Yeah.
The last one that happened to me, they pulled me out for no reason. Like, I was just going home from work. I I just had a new car. Like my new car, it still has the registration uh paper on it. It
Oh,
didn't have
okay.
the plates aren't even whatever. So I got pulled over,
You
and
got profiled.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
looking at it. I was looking at it, and I was like, I wasn't speeding, so I'm just like, whatever. So something the lights might be off or whatever, or
Yeah.
the tail light is out. So I stopped, whatever. And like next thing you know, I see the two cops, like, surrounding my car, and the officer says, get your ass out of the car. I'm like, excuse me, get your ass out of the car. And like all of a sudden, he had his hand on his hip. I'm like, it's like, what's going on, officer? Get out, get your ass out of the car now. And I'm like, I'm not getting out of my car unless you give me a reason. Like that's my right. And he was like, your car is is flagged as a getaway car from an attempted bank robbery somewhere, somewhere in the vicinity.
Okay.
And I fit the profile, quote unquote.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. We'll get out of the car. So I understood what they were trying to say.
Mhm.
Hands up. I already had my ID and my other ID, because in Arizona they ask for two IDs. You ask for your driver's license, and they ask for another license or another
Like a
picture ID.
debit card or something?
No, another picture ID.
Oh, really?
Basically.
Wow. Interesting.
So like like right now in my wallet, I have my driver's license, and then I have um my passport card, which is basically a sign to saying I'm a
Yeah.
citizen of the U.S. So, but anyways, I had both. I had both of them out because I'm always
Yeah.
like I'm so used to like getting pulled over. I'm like just like as soon as I get pulled over,
Oh, jeez.
I park my
Okay.
car, and then I'm like, oh, let me take it out. Let me get my the registration and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got out of the car, they grabbed my two IDs. They grabbed my hand and they put it on the back and they handcuffed me. And they made me sit in the car or in on the sidewalk.
Okay.
So as soon as I got pulled over, or as soon as they handcuffed me and sat down, they check they automatically checked the car.
Yeah.
Whatever. Kept where are you coming from? I said I worked I worked in this city. I'm on my way back home, and this is the shortcut. And they're like, oh, well, why didn't you take the freeway? I said, this is the shortcut. It's 6:30 in the evening, and the freeways are not a good idea.
Yeah.
So like try and be a smart ass. No, I'm just trying to tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
And then all right, whatever. And it's like is me being handcuffed necessary, officer? It didn't answer.
Yeah.
Is there like whatever? And it said because you fit the profile, uh, we have to search your car. I was like, you're not gonna see anything. It's a brand new car.
Yeah.
It's you still smell the new car smell. You know. And so they went in and checked it, whatever. They checked all the glove boxes and all that shit. They saw nothing. They
Right.
ran my name and everything. So everything was legit. 15 minutes later, I'm still handcuffed. Couple of other patrols came in. Then you
Oh,
see
jeez.
people. Then you see people driving slowly now. It's like, what the fuck is going on? There's like three cars, three cop cars, and then all of a sudden there's this like guy like handcuffed right there. So they're like checking it out.
Yeah.
So you know they might be just doing their job. They could
Mhm.
be,
Yeah.
but I highly doubt it. Just because of the fact that when I found out about the news later that the car was a fucking Honda, and I drive a Kia,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that
and
sucks.
it was a Honda Accord that and I had a Kia Soul. So one, either the cop is like stupid enough to assume that like my Kia Soul is a Honda Accord
It's a transformer.
or something,
They
or
switched cars.
or they just pulled me over for no fucking reason. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, like when they removed the handcuff, because I thought it was like kind of excessive.
Yeah.
I asked for the officer and his partner's badge,
Name. Yeah.
name and badge,
Okay.
just because
Of
that's your
course.
right.
Absolutely.
They were
As you
trying to
should, I
get
think.
they were trying to give me a fake name just because of the fact that but I saw his little name tag,
Right.
so I said, so is that your second last name there, officer? Because your name tag says different.
Yeah.
Oh, well, so I wrote it down and all that stuff, and I filed a complaint to to the police department,
Hmm.
and didn't hear shit.
Yeah. Of course not. I mean, yeah. That's
So so
that
again,
sucks.
in like when somebody tells me that Blue Lives Matter, yeah, sure. Uh, do I want to defund the police? In a sense, yeah, but I'd rather have them, trained properly. I'd rather have them use their authority in a better way of doing things.
Yeah.
And I want
I
them
agree.
to like study and figure out like a fucking Honda does not look like a Kia Soul because that's fucking stupid,
That's
And
horrible. Yeah, no, I know, like, I know exactly what you're talking about because I used to work with a guy. He would always get pulled over,
yeah,
always, and he was unfortunately he was a smart mouth, so
mhm,
he would always end up on the hood of the cop's car. And it's like, dude, you know,
Gotta learn when
and
to shut up.
I know, and like he's hilarious, and that's why I love the guy. He cracks me up. But like, yeah, in those situations, it's like I think Kuya was a very perfect example of handling it extremely professionally.
No, I like
Appropriately.
like inside of me was the raging Hulk. It was
Of
World
course.
War Hulk, like wanted to fucking destroy the cops.
Of course,
Like
understandably.
they have no right to do that to any citizen, not just me, but anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they cannot cuff you for no reason because they just had a suspicion.
Right.
That's not the law. The law states that like unless you are a threat to them, which
Yeah.
I'm not, I wasn't, because
Right.
both of them were big.
Yeah.
And you know, if I was a threat to them, and you know, I'm like 5'6" at the most, maybe with taller shoes.
And that's what I'm
Maybe.
saying is it sounds like they were trying to get you to be aggressive, so that way they had probable cause to handcuff
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? And you weren't given nothing.
No,
So
like because I got so used to the drama.
yeah, I
Like
know.
when I was younger, like I got slammed on the fucking hood of the car because like I mouthed it off.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you know, the best thing to do for people is having that idea, having that knowledge, understanding where
Yeah.
people are, you know,
Coming from.
are
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
You know, like
'Cause-
please don't compare political fucking
right.
political persecution to the plight of the Holocaust, to the plight of the Jews. That's not cool.
And that's what I'll say too is like the thing that I'm thankful for out of all this is that we have not forgotten that incident. And that, you know, and like I really hope and pray that we don't forget about that or like try to sweep it under the rug, you know, the Holocaust. It's like
Yeah.
that needs to be remembered forever.
I know.
You know what I
And,
mean?
and Pinhead is absolutely right. Fucking, you know, it's Black History Month. We shouldn't be deep diving into the drama of Caucasians in a sense. You know, and people need to just learn how to shut the fuck up. That's
Yeah.
when he said it, I was just like, yep, that's how I see it.
Do
So
your job and go home.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep. And that's why, like, my question is, like, for all of us here, if any of us were to do anything like that at our current places of employment,
we'll be fired. I would
with
be
3
fired
strikes,
instantly.
With
No,
3 strikes,
it'd be just one.
it'd be
'cause
just
it's in
one
the-
for you.
It's in the employee manual.
There you
cannot
go. Right.
like we can't even wear shirts that are political or
Right.
anything
Yeah.
anything that's like that's
right.
Any
not up to-
language, any
like
yeah.
I asked them if Carhartt was okay because sometimes Carhartt is you know associated with certain
Mhm.
demographics and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's cool. That's a cool shirt. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right, Mike. No, we cannot. We cannot do that on our job. Of course, it would be the same with her job. We can't do those things. And we get warnings. You know what I mean? After warning 1, I'll be like, all right, I apologize. Ain't gonna happen again. Sorry. You know, and leave it at that.
And I think that's why a lot of people also missed the other side that's supporting her. A lot of them are saying, freedom of speech. But then, freedom of speech when you're working for someone, a company, very large entertainment company like Disney,
multi-billion-dollar
does not
conglomerate. Yeah.
freedom of speech does not necessarily mean freedom from consequences.
Yep.
Whether it's posting stuff online or doing something physically to someone else.
Well, I mean, you could even argue the point of like you don't even have freedom of speech when you're under unemployment.
Yep.
When I'm clocked in, I can't just say, "Hey, customer, F off." I can't do that without consequences.
Exactly.
And to that point, I think I was talking to my pop about it, where he was asking, he's like, "Man, that's just so messed up," and blah blah blah. I'm like, well, the example I said was like, well, Mark Hamill, because he was very clear afterwards about his opinions on the newer sequel movies.
Yep.
He couldn't do that while he was under employment. He had to wait till afterwards, to pretty much say how he felt.
Right.
And he waited patiently.
Yep.
Yeah.
And same with John Boyega, not too long ago.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Not too long ago. You know, when he was
Yep.
asked about, and then he really shared his thoughts on, because yeah, when you look at it, The Force Awakens, he was being primed in the trailer. He's holding that lightsaber, that Skywalker lightsaber, and I get it. It was a cool twist, but the fact that, and then you're gonna tell me J.J. Abrams is gonna write, oh, he was supposed to tell Rey that he has the Force too. Are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna cut that from the movie? Why don't you just tell me in the movie? Why do I have to find out from the book? Why do I have to find out from a tweet? You know, like that's frustrating.
Any repercussions.
Yeah.
So, again, I felt, when I found out that she was fired, I'm like, that sucks, but
3 strikes.
you reap what you sow. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. Speaking of Disney Plus, so comicbook.com. So this is from comicbook.com. It says Disney Plus grows to nearly 95 million subscribers.
Better think fucking Baby Yoda for that shit.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
So this was during their Disney. So during Disney Investor Day, they announced. So this was Disney Investor Day was around December or late November. They announced that their subscriber numbers were at 86.8 million. And now, so as of January 2nd, it's now up to 94.9.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then let's not forget a little bit, going back to what happened to Gina Carano that night, a lot of people were hashtagging and some were claiming that they already canceled Disney Plus, which makes me wonder, like,
bullshit.
If you're a Star Wars fan or a Marvel
Yep.
fan, let's separate the politics here. But some people clearly support Gina Carano, and they left. Some have left Disney Plus. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
They probably just canceled this so they can get like another free trial. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
What did I tell you, Mike? I think I was like, well, maybe they didn't really like WandaVision. They're just canceling it so they can, wait till Mandalorian or whatever.
Until that Boba Fett show, until that trailer for the Boba
Fett. But they saw a Winter Soldier, right?
They still have that next month, yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, and then they're gonna be like, that was last year, or that was months ago, or no one will know. No one will know if I sign up again for Disney Plus unless I keep my mouth shut about it. No one will know.
Well, I did what I said I was gonna do. I canceled it for like a day, so it works out.
No, I posted hashtag cancel Disney Plus. That's my job. That's it.
Dude, I guarantee you, most people just did that and did nothing.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a contention out there that swears that they're making Disney bend the knee.
I know, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, really? Are you?
Yeah.
How many people try to do that? Netflix, Fox, Marvel.
It's not gonna happen.
No, it's not.
And I told Jester, it can be 500, it can be 50,000, it can be 500,000. What's that number compared to 95 million?
Nothing.
It's a flesh wound.
No, not even. It's like a small insect
It's like
bite.
a little fart, and Disney's like, oh, oops, excuse me.
That's
Anyway.
Hey, we're moving on.
Anyway,
Let's just add $5 more to the turkey leg and the drinks and all
Dude,
that stuff.
please don't.
That's what they're gonna do.
They're already too expensive over there.
so by the way, speaking of that, there is word, unofficial yet, but supposedly a lot of Disneyland employees are getting the call to come back to work.
Yep.
Supposedly they are doing, they're going to be reopening. This is the early buzz. That they're going to be opening on March 14th, exactly a year since they closed down the doors for Disneyland. So
Cool.
they're planning supposedly a limited capacity event. So I don't think the rides will be open, but there's going to be foods and drink, and then the park itself, like people will be able to go in. And then right now in California Adventure, you can go into a certain section of the park for food and shopping.
Yep.
No rides.
So is that because my wife was saying the same thing? Is that the consensus? Pretty much 25% capacity and no rides.
something like that. Yeah, it seems.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
seems like. So I'm sure. I mean, the fact that Disney, some Disneyland employees are being called back to work is a good sign because they're getting ready to, for something.
Dude, no rides. Like, what would you do? Just walk and take pictures and leave?
Walk and
I
take
will
pictures.
go to New Orleans Square.
Oh yeah.
Eat jambalaya.
Okay. All right. You got me.
Eat my beignets.
And my mint julep.
Yeah, drink a mint julep.
Yeah.
Like a real one with the the fucking alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
And then listen to the jazz music.
ever since you told me about the mint julep, I always get it when I'm there. So
It's amazing, right?
oh yeah, it's good. Well, it's the non-alcoholic one. I never tried the
Oh
alcoholic.
no, you need to try the alcohol one.
Oh.
Like once you try it, like you're not gonna stop. You're
Never
gonna be
go
like,
back, huh?
you're gonna be like, Julie, can you take care of the kids?
Oh man.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah.
But yeah, that's I saw like there's a friend of mine that lives in California that posted something about California Adventure, and then they were walking through California Adventure. I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? Like, like walking there. And then like I had to find out. And then I saw, oh, they're opening it to the public for limited fashion. Cool.
Yep.
But people are just gonna go over there and like make their make their laser swords and just eat their donuts and shit.
But it's gonna sell out. People are gonna be like, I'm gonna be in Disneyland during a pandemic.
Oh, speaking of which, selling out, I really wanted to say this real quick thing. So there was a cruise. I don't remember which one, so I suck at this. I'm sorry. There's a cruise line that is selling cruise tickets for a 6-month journey in 6 months. And each ticket, you guys want to take a guess? How much it costs?
$80,000.
$100.
600.
So Pinhead is very close. $50,000 per ticket baseline. It goes up from there. It's sold out within
course.
hours.
Of course, from the rich.
Sold out.
Do you really want to fucking like sit around in the boat for 6 months?
Dude, it's gonna just be nasty. I mean, can you imagine the amount of sex people are gonna be having on that boat for 6 months? Just getting huge.
Especially with the alcohol flowing the way it
oh, dude.
The people that can afford that are like senior citizens and shit, right?
So what? That doesn't.
So it's gonna be grandma titties that you're gonna be looking at.
Doesn't make them any less horny.
Exactly, and it
That is
doesn't
true.
mean that the beer won't be flowing any less either.
Hey, so I guess
Dentures are gonna be coming out.
Just grab the Vaseline and go like this, right?
Sliding Granny down the deck.
And then just grab it from the knees, right?
And that's not necessarily true. If we saw anything from the Fire Festival, that wasn't all grannies and senior citizens going down there.
Yeah,
and
true.
that was those tickets were close to what he's talking about. Very, very expensive, 1% entitlement children going down there. So that's not necessarily so. Yes, there'll be old fucks, but there'll be young bucks there too, because their mommy and daddy will pay for them to go there. It'll be an entitlement cruise. So that's not necessarily so.
Would you want to spend 6 months with those entitled fuckers?
No, but what I'm saying is it's not all gonna be old farts on the cruise.
Yeah, he's right.
That's funny, but it's not true.
Right.
Man.
All right. So moving on from IGN.com.
It's been a while since I had entitled sex.
Wow.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Like,
Well, except when it's with my hand, because that's really entitled.
Like, I don't do this normally, but okay.
Wow.
Alrighty.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Okay, moving on. So this is from IGN.com. So Tom Holland denies that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will appear in the next Spider-Man movie.
He signed a fucking disclosure, man. Fuck that guy.
They all did, even for past films, and they still opened their mouth. Remember when what's his name, Mark Ruffalo, at the premiere for Thor Ragnarok, had his Instagram live on while the movie started for the first 15 minutes. People could hear the opening audio.
Yep.
Dude.
He put it in his pocket, in his jacket pocket, and he people couldn't see anything, but they could hear the first 15 minutes of Thor Ragnarok.
And that's all you need.
Shut up. Dude,
What?
that's crazy. It just cracks me up that kid spoiled it without even spoiling it. Like, you shouldn't have just said anything. Why would you say no? That's not true.
Yeah, so his exact quote is, no, they will not be appearing in this film. He firmly told the publication when asked about the possibility of the two actors returning, unless they have the most massive piece of information from me, which I think is too big of a secret for them to keep from me. But as of yet, no. It'll be a continuation of the Spider-Man movies that we've been.
They saw Garfield in the movie set already, and then they saw Maguire in the movie set.
Yep.
They're there.
Yep.
If Tom Holland's not there, then that means he's not included in that scene.
That's kind of funny if they're keeping it like that hush hush from that kid. That would be funny.
But this is my movie. No, it's not.
No, it's not today, son.
No. Like, you see that meme, right? Like, like the Tom Holland character, and then like, but,
Yeah.
This is my movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No. Oh my gosh.
So next up,
And this guy's gonna be a Nathan Drake, bro. Like, really.
Dude, I know that kind of bums me out. I saw the photo of him and like he looks good, but
It's
I'm
way
scared.
too young, man. Like,
I'm scared.
And then Marky Mark is gonna be Sully.
That really makes me a little cranky, but I'll still watch the movie.
I mean, like, if he can pull off the mustache and the balding haircut, I might be, because Marky Mark did a great job in The Departed as
True.
What's his name?
Yeah, true. Gosh, what is his name in that movie?
That wasn't Sully.
I know, but same moxie.
I think he can play the character. I just hope that when they did the writing, that they stayed true to the characters in the game, and that the actors portray that as best as possible.
I guess it works out. If the little toad is Nathan Drake, then that's fine.
Little toad.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tom Holland is like, what, in his 20, like he's 20 years old?
Yeah.
22, 23, I think.
He's 45,
yeah, and then Marky Mark is what, 45 maybe? 46?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But this is like young Nathan. It's not going to be
Tom
any of the.
Holland's
It's not going to be
24.
any of the games, right? Not at all.
No, I think it's a completely new story. If I'm fairly positive on that.
Is Druckmann like writing this shit?
No, I don't think he's involved at all.
Okay, thank God.
Tom Holland is 24.
Okay.
Mark Wahlberg is 49, so I guess it's not too bad.
25-year difference. Yeah, I think that's Sully and Nathan, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I said I guess it's not too bad. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see. But the track record of video game movies is not so great. So, and I don't think this one's gonna turn the tide.
I agree with
you. If Warcraft couldn't do it, which was supposed to be the biggest video game of all time, by most people's standards, could not do it. This, I'm sorry, I hate to be the negative Nancy, as some say, but it's not going to do it. It's called mathematics. It's called a track record. It's just called common sense.
I'm hoping for it, but I agree.
I am too, but let's come on.
Yep.
All righty, ready to move on to your guys' most awaited sequel in the Marvel universe?
Captain Karen, not happening, canceled, right?
So this is for someone who doesn't like cancel culture again. It's
a joke. It's a joke.
Sure.
See, look at me. I'm pumping up. I'm so pumped.
They say jokes are happening, right?
You see me? I'm pumped up. I'm so excited for this movie.
Yes.
So this is from the Wrap.com. So there's a casting update. Zaw Ashton is going to play the villain in Captain Marvel 2. And then
I saw her picture. She ain't bad.
Wait,
Yeah.
Shaw Astin, who's that?
Zaw,
Sean Astin.
Zaw Ashton. She's from
Oh, I thought it was a guy.
Velvet Buzzsaw. I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with
the one with the God, what the hell is that guy's name? Stalker guy. The
Wait, what's her name? How
the
do I
the,
Google
the,
this?
the other
Gyllenhaal?
the other yeah, Gyllenhaal, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Let's see.
Stalker.
Let's see. Let's look.
Zaw Ashton. ZAWE.
Yeah.
Zaw Ashton.
Yeah.
Oh, Ashton. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably
What?
Zawidi Ashton. Like,
So
Yeah,
haven't
Pinhead,
seen
what do you
her in
think?
it.
What do you think, Pinhead? Yeah,
I haven't seen her in anything.
she's British.
yeah.
Well, that's a strike one right there because I'm tired of this British shit.
Hey,
However,
Jude
She's
Law did a good job.
She's a very,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Black
Yeah.
History Month. Yeah.
You ain't no Batwoman, the
There
current
you go.
Batwoman.
She ain't no
you-
Batwoman, but like, hey,
she's,
you know,
she's still good. She's still
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
agree with you on that one.
So she's been cast to play the villain opposite Brie Larson in Marvel Studios' upcoming Captain Marvel 2, according to an individual with knowledge of the project. Candyman director Nia DaCosta is set to direct the Captain Marvel sequel.
Okay.
Do we know what villain she's playing?
No, we don't.
As long as
Okay.
she's whooping that Captain Karen ass, that's all I care. You know.
Yeah.
that's a different character. I don't know if you can if they posted it up already, but there might be a partner for Captain Karen,
Uh-oh.
Partner, like a sidekick?
like a roommate.
Oh, okay. Why are you being all subtle about it? Just
Yeah,
say it, dude.
Like a roommate. I'm just saying, like, good because this is the times. These are the times, right?
This isn't the
We
80s.
we want to make sure that, like, you know, and because the rumor is it might be Monica Rambeau's mom.
Oh, they were bumping and grinding.
So,
I don't think nothing
so if
wrong.
they're gonna set that time, then that means we're gonna be like in like way back when she was still alive, right?
Yeah.
Right now in WandaVision, she's gone.
And you know, the reason there's tension between Monica and Captain Karen is because Captain Karen was away when Mommy had cancer.
Oh, because
yeah.
they were grinding each other. Dude, stop it.
So it says here, Megan McDonnell, who wrote, I guess she's one of the writers on WandaVision. She also wrote the script for Captain Marvel.
There you go. See,
Okay.
there's the
So-
tie-in. So
You-
it's gonna be Monica Rambeau versus Captain Karen versus hottie British black actress
In a three-way?
Zawi, right? Zawi.
And then,
That's
so it says here, 2019's Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson as the title character, grossed $1.1 billion worldwide. Miss Marvel headliner Iman Vellani and Teyana Paris also are on board to star in the sequel.
Yep, because
Oh.
they're gonna make the Marvel team.
I did
course.
watch Captain Karen actually 2 days ago
You
Oh,
still
yeah.
hate it, huh?
on Disney Plus. I fell asleep. I did. I fell asleep, and then I tried to watch it again, and I fell asleep again.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as to who the villain's going to be, and then what are you talking about? They're making a team.
She's gonna Captain Karen's gonna be the mentor for Miss Marvel
Oh,
for the TV show.
oh,
You know how Disney and the MCU loves their mentors and
yes,
mentees
they do.
and
Yep.
all that
Mentors
shit that, like,
have
that
to
you don't-
die.
They don't need to do that anymore. And
Yeah.
especially with a mentor like Captain Karen.
Yeah, I know, huh?
No.
Yeah.
I hope Rocket Raccoon comes back and start making fun of the fucking
Oh,
haircut,
dude, me
man.
too, man. Yes.
Just like a scene, like
Laughs about her hair again or something.
yeah, that's probably
too.
that's probably my third favorite scene in Endgame.
When he calls her out on her haircut.
Yeah, that's the third one. The second
Yep.
one was when Captain America said Avengers Assemble. And then my favorite scene
Oh.
is when when the end credits rolled up and everybody went home.
Wow, dude.
That's my favorite scene.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Yeah, because that's the end of the phase, whatever the
Phase
Infinity
3?
Saga.
Yeah.
Because it's the best one.
Oh.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna pass it on to Pinhead right now, so he can share his thoughts on the 8-episode saga of The Stand.
Actually, it was 9, if I'm not
Or
mistaken.
9. Goodness gracious.
9
Just
waterboarding.
like the
sessions.
Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to do this. This makes me sad. I'll go right off the bat because you talk about hive minds and prime directives. It sits at a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh. Almost.
That
Sounds like
that's
the
too
law, then.
high. That's too high. That's too high.
Oh, that's too high, huh?
Really.
And that further diminishes the credibility of Rotten Tomatoes, and that's why I tell you, you fucking RoboCops out there, you need to come off your prime directives and stop following Rotten Tomatoes like a bunch of RoboCops who are brain dead morons, because they're not the end all be all, and this is proof of it. 58%. Maybe if Whoopi Goldberg was in the whole damn miniseries, yeah, it's a 58%. I would give this toward the low end of the spectrum. I'd say it's more like you gave Clarice 32%, that's patently ridiculous. But anyway, we're not talking about that show. We're talking about The Stand. The glorious Stand. I think it's pretty obvious by now. No one cared about this. Most people who suffered through it like I did, we did it because of the name. We were really hoping that in the modern era, we could get a really, really good adaptation of The Stand, because we got a great, for the most part, by and large, excluding some of the flaws that Chapter 2 had, we got a great adaptation of it in this modern era. That was really good. That was a step in the right direction. We got a couple of really good adaptations, and then they went, okay, so let's make The Stand. Okay, that's great. Well, I was excited about that. And then they said they were going to tell it in a non-linear fashion. And now I knew we were off to the fucking races. So just so we have an idea of the cast here, it's not too bad. We got a couple here, especially for my boy Jester. His girl, he loves her. So we'll
Amber
go
Turd.
with Alexander Skarsgård. He's playing Randall Flagg. We'll compare him to the other guy, and we'll get to that in a little bit, because I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this damn review because it doesn't deserve any more of my attention than it's already gotten. I put 10 plus hours into this, and I've watched it twice, so it's probably more than that. We got Odessa Young as Franny. She's god awful. She's Drek. And the reason why I hate her so much is because when people don't do that, you have to. When you compare it to the book and her character in the book, she's a little petulant brat. And you can't relate to her character, and I don't. Maybe that's not against Odessa, but we'll get into that, because I'm going to go down the cast line, and then I'm going to talk about the material. So we got my boy Jester's girl, Amber Heard. She was a highlight in there. We'll talk about that. Catherine McNamara. James Marsden right here is where it really becomes a problem, is because he's a big character, Stu Redman, and he might as well have been Bill Watts. So we got Owen Teague as Harold Lauder. We got Whoopi Goldberg, who was the highlight. We got Ezra Miller, who was a junkyard dog. He might as well have been. And we'll go down the line. Anyway, for the most part, this series was dog shit. It was absolute dog shit. I'll give it a D- for dog shit. That's the best I can give it because it's really trash. And I wish I could articulate my words more, but the simple fact, this thing was garbage. It drug out. It went on and on and on about bullshit no one cared about. And then there's moments where you saw great acting, you saw great moments, and you got all excited, and you're like, okay, we're going. And then the show stops that, and it says, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna show you a scene of walking, and we're walking. And we're walking. It reminds me of the boat rowing scene that we once had, and we're rowing. It's all this boat rowing. I don't get this obsession with Hollywood entertainment, whether it be TV, movies, or video games. There has to be a scene where people are either rowing a boat, they're walking down the street, they're looking to the sky, they're doing shit we do all the time that we don't care about, that we're not watching this shit for. Like, why are you doing this? We don't care.
They're trying to be introspective, huh?
Well, there was one scene where they were really trying to be introspective, because during the walking, while we were walking, before they started the dialogue, they threw in a random song where it might as well have been dun 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 dun. It might as well have been Heart of Gold. I've been around. I've been searching for a heart of gold while they're walking. Like, we get it. And then they stop that, and then they have this dialogue about, well, I sure am not looking forward to going to this area, because it's a dangerous area. And like, you're not Tarantino. Stop with the walking and the talking. If you don't have the dialogue that matches up with, because I don't like Tarantino, but one thing I will give him 100%, when he does those scenes where you go, oh God, at least he holds your attention because the dialogue is solid and you're interested in it. Stop trying to be Tarantino unless you can produce Tarantino dialogue. Okay, I'm giving that to all you guys in Hollywood, because you have this obsession, and I made an IG live about this. This is where you snobs that are trying to seep into horror, that I want to bust your teeth out in one shot. You don't belong in here. I've said it before. Everybody is welcome. I don't care if you're black, brown, green, yellow, blue, LGBTQ. I don't care. You are all welcome here. I don't care. I don't care if you're a first timer, a last timer. Who's not welcome here are the snobs who come in here and go, well, by the way, Pinhead, I'd like to discuss with you the fact that you don't understand that my favorite movie is Suspiria's remake, and it's better than the original because it's an introspective. I'm going to bust your teeth out in one shot if you ever come up to me saying that shit, because you don't belong in horror, because that's not what horror is about. Get the fuck out and go to where you belong, into those art house bullshit pussy plastic pieces of shit movies that you watch. Those are good movies, but those belong there. Don't bring it here to horror, because we don't want it. We don't want it. We know what we want in horror. We don't want the Pinhead. By the way, if you I'll bust your teeth out in one shot. I promise you. Because I'm not a tough guy, but you guys are made of absolute fucking wet paper towels, and I know I can bust your teeth out in one shot. So knock the shit off, or I'll knock it off for you. And those guys, and we're gonna come for a circle, and I'm gonna end my review here. I brought that up because those type of guys are the guys that made this stand. Those are the type of guys that actually produced and made this fucking Stand movie, because it's a pretentious pile. I'm going to say it, and it's going to be a mantra. And those who know my IG Live, this was a average, middle of the road, perfunctory claptrap piece of dog shit. A fucking flaming pile of dog shit that shouldn't have been in here whatsoever. And not only is it a disgrace to the Stephen King name, it's a disgrace to these young men and women who were in this cast and crew. And it's even more a disgrace to the fans and viewers like myself, who subjected ourselves to this piece of shit. You would have got away with this if you put it on CBS. You would have got away with it because none of us could have really complained. We could have complained, but it would have been free. You put it on the premium service, CBS All Access, and that's where you fucked up. And not for nothing, you put it on the premium CBS All Access service, but you made it CBS content where when you got to see nudity and it's coming up where the debauchery should come in a post-apocalyptic, like Jester said, and don't have titties in Lord of the Rings, right? Don't have titties, right? This is the book where you have to have titties because there's debauchery in Las Vegas. It's called New Vegas. There's disgusting debauchery. It's the post-apocalyptic end of the world. And right as we get there, you go, no, I'm not doing that because we're on CBS. No, you're not, guys. You forgot. You're on CBS All Access where it's TVMA. You can do whatever you want. Oh, that's right. Well, let's show them screwing. Let's show them screwing for no reason. You're not getting it. Okay? You're not getting it. And this is why people hate this shit. You think that's entertainment. It's not. And that's why I say this is average, middle of the road garbage. You belong in as our British counterparts across the pond would say, you belong in the fucking rubbish bin. Okay? You belong in the rubbish bin. Now that I think about it, and now that you've raised my blood pressure, you're no longer a D-. You're F for fuckwit. So it's an F now. It's F for fuckwits. Because you're all fuckwits for doing this. This show's an F.
Was it Amber Turd at least screwing for no reason?
No, she got flung out. Well. Actually, she did. She got screwed by a nasty old goblin because she didn't even, at first she was getting screwed by Skarsgård, but then they turned it into a nasty old grotesque satanic slothy, and he was going, oh, she's going, and that was probably for Johnny. I'm sure. Plus her getting. I'm sure her flinging herself out the window was for Johnny too because she got splatted. Another thing I'd like to mention before I wrap this up, there's 3 women in here that get. I take it back. There's 4 women in here that get very, very little playtime, and I don't get it. You got Heather Graham's in here, and there's a very interesting side. I don't want to call her a side bitch, but that's what they make her to Larry Underwood's character. But she actually has a lot of depth. And as they're getting into that depth, they go, no, we're done with that. Shoot the bitch. Let her get gang raped, but she didn't get gang raped, wink, wink. But she did. So there's that you discarded her, so that's great. Then you got Natalie Martinez, who is a really, really, really great, strong, powerful, you got your strong, powerful Latina girl who shows it. Dispatch her too. Let her stab herself in the eye because around the flag, he's sitting there going, ooh, that scared her. Okay, that makes sense, even though that happened not in the book. And then we get to the obvious one, which is Whoopi Goldberg, who was fantastic, but Mother Abigail, fuck her, right? I don't get this. I'm going to stop this because I'm going to get into a John Cena rant because it's so aggravating. It's so aggravating to me that you have all this material that is so fantastic. You, for the most part, have this fantastic cast, and you give them gruel. I don't understand this mentality. So fuck The Stand. I know people don't like me saying it. All you say is fuck this. And on this time it's warranted. So here we go. I'm going to get them out. Fuck The Stand. Fuck the all-seeing eye that is CBS because you're lazy fuckwit bums. Fuck the people. Fuck Josh Boone, you lazy bastard, because you're a big part of what's responsible for this. And guess what? Even more so because you could have had someone to stop this. I know this one's going to really get me hurt in the horror community. Fuck Stephen King, too. So there you go. F for The Stand for fuck you and fuckwits. There you go. That's my review for The Stand. Fuck this piece of dog shit.
Dude, I can't help but laugh because I like how you're like, yeah, I know people don't like this, but and then just go hard, man.
Well, fuck 'em,
Fuck
bro.
you
Fuck
anyway.
'em.
Fuck you guys anyway. If you don't like it, I'm gonna say it anyway. So how much is CBS All Access a month? I'm curious.
Well, it depends on which tier you get.
Also, there's different. Okay,
So
what-
there's one tier where they say, "Hey, buddy, you can pay I think $9.99, and you get commercials." Or if you say, "Hey, bend over, Rover, we'll pay. You'll get rid of the commercials." I think it's $14.99. Don't quote me. I'm gonna look it up right now so that people don't have that. So let's look it up right now. CBS All Access. Because we're on the point of it, and you can't do this shit to me anymore. Before you could go, well, you can't research this shit. We'll research it right now
Bend over, Rover.
because these guys don't deserve this shit, and it's ridiculous.
So when I had CBS, I had the $9.99 with ads when I was trying to watch Discovery. And
Exactly.
just like you, I was getting waterboarded with that hot mess, so I stopped. But I didn't even know they had an additional one.
No, now they have an additional. So I'm right. They have an additional one where if you don't want the waterboarding, as Jester said, and don't want to, you got to bend over, like I said, and take that, and they'll stop the commercials. So
Okay.
and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But it may
Yeah.
change because it may change because, and I may be wrong because now here pretty soon they're going to their original idea and they're going to turn into Paramount Plus because that's original. We haven't heard that before, right? Dumbass bastard. That you see what I'm saying? This is the originality, and that kind of originality. That originality was what was put into the stand. So good for you guys. You're real good at your jobs. You lackluster fucking bums.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you mentioned like it's supposed to be what New Vegas, and they're supposed to be showing like some stuff, or at least some kitties, and then the name is CBS All Access, and you're paying for that All Access, but they're not giving you that All Access. Like fuck that shit then.
Yeah. Dude.
Exactly. It's like I'm not like let me see tits. Like, but the fact of the matter is when you're getting into material that's actually mature nature, and that's why I brought up Jester's point where when it's not mature and you put it in there, it's not necessary. The same rules apply when it is mature nature, and you go, hey,
Right.
Not gonna show it because there's children. If you're letting children watch it, your teeth should be busted out, okay?
Right.
But we're not doing that. Most people who have critical brains in their heads that aren't just husks sitting there in their skull, they won't let their children watch it. So that now that we got that out of the way, we can all agree we're all adults watching this. Why in the hell are you holding back in mature nature content? Because it's CBS. Because I know they're like, it's CBS. No, it's not. It's CBS All Access. That's why I said if this was on regular CBS, you could get away with this shit. It's on the premium service we're paying for. It's like Netflix showing, a movie that's rated R and they're having a sex scene and they take the shirt off and then all of a sudden it goes and it just cuts it out. Well, then why'd you build that up? Not to be a grotesque goblin and go, like I said, and but if you build it up and you make it this big thing and mature content, then why did you build it up if you weren't going to show anything?
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't make me get the paper out and spank you, CBS. Do I have to do? Bad CBS. Bad. Don't do it. Bad CBS. Bad.
Be like Amber Turd and give all access.
And that's another rant altogether, and I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
You reward grotesque goblins,
Yeah.
and I'm not getting into it. That's
okay.
like I like to say on my videos now. That's a subject for another day. Well, I'm not doing it.
Hold up. If Amber Heard is a grotesque goblin, what does that make us?
What does that make us? I don't know.
Hey,
We're bottom of the barrel, man.
I've never shat on anybody else's bed.
Hey, me too. Hey, we're samesies. That's
Just
so
saying.
cool.
Not when you were a baby. You haven't shot at anyone.
No, in anybody else's bed. Yeah, on my bed, fucking like when I was a baby, I fucking shat on my
Or
bed.
your parents' bed, right?
Yeah, or something.
Hey, I'll tell you right. I'll agree with you. I've shit in my pants before when I was a kid. Maybe even an adult when I was drunk. But you know what? I had the good decency to do in their bathtub, in the bathroom. I never did in anybody's bed.
Yeah.
Not on their
Yep.
head. Not in the trunk. Not with a skunk. Not none of us did it. Like we don't have to go. So we're not because I made this. I said this on a video once before. It can be seen on my IG live, cheap promotion, wink, wink, but I said this on an IG live once. I said, maybe Johnny Depp is a grotesque goblin, but he's not getting punished for his grotesque goblin nature.
Yeah.
Unlike Amber Heard. He's not getting rewarded for his grotesque goblin nature. She is.
It's a double standard.
And when she gets rewarded for it, we get this kind of performance, because that's another thing. Her performance, not for nothing. Hey, girl, Goblin, wake up. It's time to perform. It's time to do your job. Every scene is this. I remember her.
Oh, she
And
followed.
I sit on Johnny Depp's bed. So can you help me? And everybody else does their best to put in a great performance while she's, I remember her. I tried to bite fingers just like Army Hammer tried to bite toes. But certain people will get away with it and others won't. And I'll leave it at that. So fuck The Stand, fuck Amber Heard, fuck CBS All Access, and fuck Stephen King. Fuck them.
And
F is for fuck and fuck with. Fuck them all.
Man, Army
So,
Hammer.
at least now we know, like, it's good to know that Lord of the Rings prequel series is not going to be CBS All Access. So when we
Thank
get
God.
time, we're going to see the titties flow.
That absolutely.
Let your boobies show.
Elven titties in the lake, talking about like life in in the beyond. There you go. There you go.
Yep.
That's the scene.
Alrighty. So moving on to this small movie you guys might have heard that's coming out on March 18th.
Hey, is that Black Widow?
Black Widow's not coming out till May. That's if it is gonna.
She could be so lucky.
May.
Oh, fucking Black Widow.
So last we heard, Black Widow supposedly is still planned for a theatrical release in May.
Are they gonna put it in May because like Dr. Fauci said that like everybody should be okay by April?
I think the last I heard is April is gonna be the free for all for vaccines.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like, oh, give me my shot and get it to go to the movie theater. You're right. Oh boy.
Access no.
Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
So Black Widow supposedly from Disney is May, unless something happens and they still get cold feet. Movie theater's still not doing.
Well, they just want to be a little better than Wonder Woman 84. That's all they care about.
Hey.
So.
Well, yeah.
Hey, fuck that hoe. Let Mike finish to what the real movie's about. What we're really talking about. Fuck that bitch. Okay, let's hear the real news.
So Zack Snyder's Justice League.
There we go.
There's been many teases from, as we're getting closer to that March 18 release on HBO Max here in the US. And so Vanity Fair, there was an article that was published on vanityfair.com. This is written by Anthony Bresnikan. We've mentioned him here on the show in past episodes. So he wrote this article. It's called First Look at Jared Leto's Eerie Joker in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So this is from February 9. And the photos, there's two photos, one close-up and another of Jared Leto's Joker. And it's just black and white photos. He's got longer hair, no more face tattoos, no more damaged or rotten tattoos on his face. It looks like it's just plain white makeup with like black around the eyes and possibly red lips. Like we can't tell because it's black and white photos. But
If it was Black Lips, then he'd be the Crow.
which a lot of people, as soon as I share them on like a Batman Facebook group and another like geek Facebook group, a lot of people were complaining and saying it's the Crow, it's the Nun,
It's
it's
the
what,
the Dark Knight is
Oh,
poor man's Heath Ledger.
Can I
it's
say
what
one that I
he
heard
did
that like
with
legit
Joker.
made me laugh really hard?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, somebody said he decided to eat out a blueberry pie, and that made me laugh pretty
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I've seen
Nice.
that too. Which is all fine and dandy, whatever. You know, and then a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, it looks like crap." Oh, it's like the 5,000th time that because in the article in the piece, we got some quotes from Zack Snyder here,
Mhm.
and so one of the things here says, the Joker is really the only thing that I thought of in retrospect. But I will say that it was always my intention to bring Joker into that world. That's from Zack Snyder. Um, and then it says here, when he first began working on DC films a decade ago, Snyder thought he would eventually bring the villain into conflict with Batman in a later project. But after his falling out with the studio, he realized that probably would never happen. Instead, when given the opportunity to finally finish Justice League his way for HBO Max, he asked for additional photography to fit Joker into the 4-hour event. So it says here, the only real rule about depicting Joker on screen is that you have to put your own twist on the monster. Variation is not just allowed, but expected. In this case, Snyder chose to cast his Joker as Leto, who played the part in an entirely different form in David Ayer's Suicide Squad in 2016. So, and then it also says here, in some of his Justice League scenes, Leto's Joker also sports a bulletproof vest festooned with grimy law enforcement badges. Quote, he has tons of badges, Snyder said. Those are his trophies. And then, spoiler warning, it says here, Joker appears in the new film during a sequence set on a ruined Earth after the alien tyrant Darkseid invades and decimates the planet. It's a dream sequence, a psychic vision experienced by Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne that reveals what will happen if the superheroes fail to stop the onslaught. Joker is sort of the ghost of Christmas yet to come, supplying motivation through terror. And then Snyder also said the cool thing about the scene is that it's Joker talking directly to Batman about Batman. Snyder said, it's Joker analyzing Batman about who he is and what he is. That's the thing I also felt like fans deserved from the DC universe. That is to say, the Jared Leto Joker and the Ben Affleck Batman, they never really got together. It seemed uncool to me that we would make it all the way through this incarnation of Batman and Joker without seeing them come together. So there you go. And then he also mentions I'd always wanted to explore the death of Robin, Snyder said. And if there ever was going to be a next movie, which of course there probably won't be, hint, hint, I wanted to do a thing where in flashbacks, we learn how Robin died, how Joker killed him and burned down Wayne Manor, and that whole thing that happened between he and Bruce. So, yeah.
When I first saw the picture, like at first it was like the Joker card, right, and then like a blank picture,
Right.
or like out of focus.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, so this is where they're gonna go with. They're trying to just just keep it as relevant as make it familiar because Dark Knight Joker had similar hair, so did the Joker from Joaquin Phoenix's world, right?
Yep.
So like they're just trying to okay, cool. But then when I saw the real picture of how Jared Leto portrayed the Joker. Like when he was like that far away picture was the one that got me like I was like, whoa, okay, like that stare. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that picture, right? Like that stare of him like staring at like into the camera with that pose of like yeah, you shouldn't be fucking with me. That's
The one they
pretty much
call the Crow.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one. But
That
I
dumb
was like okay, well, this is the Joker that they're gonna go with. Okay, I'm cool with that. A lot of casual fans, they're not familiar with what happened in the nightmare sequences. This is just like the worst case scenario for Batman. This is just him thinking like what could go wrong, if shit like this happens. So this is the nightmare side of things.
But the nightmare sequence, so just to clarify for me, because when I saw it in theaters, the Batman versus Superman,
Mhm.
where he has that nightmare
Yeah.
or that dream that I wasn't sure if it was a dream or not, Flash comes in and like is warning him, right? So my question is it Flash that's giving him that vision?
Mm-mm.
What
It
is
was
it then?
the what woke him up is the fact that the Flash came in and gave him that warning.
But
Because like
what's the vision from?
the vision is just him. It's just the nightmare sequence because he saw Superman and Batman versus Superman as a threat automatically. Remember, like he had that speech with Alfred, like, "Oh, if it's like a 1% chance."
Right, but like this whole situation in the comic books, it really does happen, right?
The nightmare sequence, like when like what happens if Lois dies?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole Injustice comic line in the movie
Okay.
or in the video game.
But
So
Okay.
the Joker killed Lois Lane in the
Right.
comic books,
Okay.
and the Superman blamed Batman for allowing the Joker to live because Batman doesn't
Gotcha.
kill. So in that end, he caught the Joker and fucking just like punched him through his heart, grabbed his heart and crushed it. And,
Oh, okay. I do remember that
Yeah.
specific comic book.
and Batman thought like what are you doing, whatever, you know, and Superman became like I guess a fascist, just saying the world needs order, the world needs discipline, the world
And he
needs
joins
justice.
Darkseid, right? He
Yeah.
helps out Darkseid. Yeah. Okay. I remember that
Okay.
book.
Because he was part of like all that stuff, and that's the nightmare. That's the nightmare sequence because like the strongest person in the world going bad. That's
Right.
the night. That's a nightmare right there.
Yeah.
So Batman,
that makes sense.
Batman is thinking always that this is the psyche of Batman, and he always thinks the worst of everything.
Right.
That's
Right.
why he always has a plan. That's why he always
Yeah.
like, oh, you're a Mother Teresa. Oh my God, okay, but you play with kids.
Right. Right. Yeah. You could be a horrible person. Yep.
Like like you've been helping the poor, but how come this and this and this?
Right. Right.
So he never trusts anybody just because that's how his psyche was.
Yeah.
So with the nightmare sequence, it's kind of cool. What I don't know if what they're gonna do. Maybe Joker and Batman are gonna team up. I don't know. I don't know if it's just gonna be a conversation. I don't know if it's just gonna be uh, Batman just looking, just like whatever, and then all of a sudden, Joker pops up and says, "Hey, this isn't the Batman that I know. This isn't the whatever." All of the things because like
Yeah.
the Joker is pretty much the complete opposite of what Batman was. Because like Batman wanted order, wanted justice. Joker wants chaos,
Right.
plain
Right.
and simple. So yeah, that's the picture that I saw, like the first picture I was in, and then like the next teasers, Mike, was just like holy shit. Like Annika, like my wife, when she saw that second teaser, the one with Kal-El in the black,
Black
with
suit.
the stare. Oh, as soon as she saw that, because I showed her, and she was just like this. Ooh.
Ooh.
And I was like, and this is coming from a person who absolutely loved Justice League. My wife loved Justice League.
Really?
She enjoyed it. She said
Oh.
it's way better than the Avengers. That's what she said.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's what
Those
she
are
said
fighting
because she.
words, Kuya.
But this is what
and
this
still
this is.
love my drinking game. I'm telling you.
This is the reason why, and this is the reason why she said it, because she said, like, I understand, like, how everybody is like, supporting the Avengers and all that stuff, but I don't understand how they became a team. And I said, well, one security guard died, or Agent Coulson, and then she was just like, so they're avenging his death, and I was like, yeah, but then he was alive for the TV show. And then she was like, "Wait, so what's the purpose of them being Avengers then if he was alive?" And I was like, "Well, that's a great question." And then from that point on, she was just like, "I don't understand Marvel." That's what she said. But then, like, every time she watches a DC movie, she's thoroughly entertained. She loved she loved even the scenes that Joss Whedon did, like like Superman calling the Flash slowpoke. She was like laughing at that. And I was like, man, how can Superman like call the fastest man alive slowpoke? And I was like, it's just like a rib because he wants Flash to work harder. And and then I was like, and then she was like, oh, okay. But then as soon as she saw this one, because I explained to her that the difference, with Zack Snyder's Snyder cut and the Justice League, she
Yeah.
was like, so we're not gonna see the same scenes or anything like that. Yeah, there's gonna be a few.
Like what, 30
Uh,
minutes, right?
there's gonna be a few comedy
Let
comedy
me
scenes.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
How'd she like Malcolm and Marie?
Oh, she hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I-
show her that during Valentine's Day tomorrow and see how far it gets you.
It's a little too close, man. A little
Well,
too close
like
to
I
home.
said, you should try it. Might get you the home run.
Nah.
Yeah.
She might just like look at me, and she's gonna say, "Yeah, Marie's right." Oh,
And
you guys
for
suck.
you guys out there, so I don't spoil it for you, I think there's a little for you people out there who have reference. I won't go down the obvious nature, but this is a certain Caucasian's version of Blue Valentine because it's got a lot of impact on a lot of people's relationships. So
Where
show
do you?
that to show both. Hey, this is my gift to all you lovebirds out there for Valentine's Day tomorrow. You won't get, but watch Malcolm and Marie and Blue Valentine. Have that double feature. You'll enjoy that.
Yep.
That's a real lovebird fest right there.
Oh, and to make it
Stop with your bullshit notebooks, you gutless wonders. Do the real shit and have that double feature.
no, and to add a triple for a triple feature, add Old Boy into that mix.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay,
So I'm
so-
curious. What did Annika? What did she see in the Justice League of how they came together? I'm curious now.
No, she was just entertained. She was just like, I understand that they were fighting, they were fighting the evil, and they had to fight together, otherwise they're gonna get their asses kicked. That's what she said. And I'm like, what? And so that's how they fought, and then when Superman came to the rescue, all that stuff, right? And then she looked at me. She's like, Superman is really that strong? I'm like, yeah. She's the muscle. I said Superman's the muscle of the Justice League. Well, who's the leader? And I was like, a lot of people say it's Batman, but at the end of
So
the
my
day,
question is,
Superman is in the middle. So
At the end of the day, it's Batman. It's
my
Batman.
question real quick before we move on. My question is, which Avengers, the first one or Age of Ultron?
the first one.
That's a little tough. I could see Age of Ultron, but
No, she like when it comes to like superhero movies, she likes and what she likes, and she doesn't like what she doesn't like.
well, like that's why I
So-
said she's gonna love the drinking game that we put out there when we get close to because we are gonna put that drinking game on this podcast. It's gonna happen.
And for
We gotta
those
share that one.
for
The
those
Justice
haters,
League drinking game must be shared to all.
yeah,
So-
and for those haters who nitpick every single goddamn scene of the trailers, of the teasers, of all these things, just wait until you watch the movie.
Oh, they
Before you-
can't, because every time I share the teaser that Snyder posts, which by the
Shit
way,
the pants.
each one of those. So he started like 3 days ago. And the first time, so each teaser pretty much shows quick clips of that new trailer, which is now, according to our time, we're 7 hours and 1 minute away from
Yep.
seeing that full trailer for the Snyder cut. So Snyder would post it on his Vero and then on his Twitter. On Twitter, each of those short teasers to this big trailer has now reached over 1 million views on Twitter. This is only on Twitter. And then if you'll notice, Warner Brothers is not doing any promotion for this at all.
Yep.
They are
Because
not backing this movie.
it's fine.
Right. And that's
Because
why,
because the reason why they're not backing it at all is because the fans will know that they fucked up pretty royally.
right. And then they also, Warner Brothers brass doesn't want to see this
Yep.
film succeed. And
Yep.
that's why it's all about the grassroots campaign of all the fans helping boost and promote this movie.
The toxic cancel culture of release the Snyder cut, right, Mike? That's what
Yeah.
that's what they said last week.
Pretty much. Oh, and then now looking at Twitter, we've got a official countdown from, so this is from the Snyder Cut official Twitter account. So this is a verified account that was started by fans, and then I don't know if it's Warner Brothers or HBO Max took over the account officially. So there is a countdown now. 6 hours, 59 minutes, 24 seconds. And then
I really can't wait to watch the movie. And I'm glad that they made it into a movie instead of like the 4 1 hour specials.
chapters, yeah. We're
Yeah,
getting
same.
full 4
Like,
hours.
it's a good good thing for them. And like I got posted on Twitter, whether people hate it or not, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna enjoy this movie. I'm done with the haters. I'm done with people nitpicking every little goddamn thing about Zack Snyder's vision. If they don't want to watch it, don't fucking watch it.
Oh, they claim that they're not gonna watch it, but we know.
Oh yeah, but they will. Like they've been nitpicking about continuity errors. They've been nitpicking about how Dark Side looks. Like that's not the Dark Side that we know. But then like they're okay with Thanos's fucking shirtless vest get up
Right, right.
without the helmet and without all the other doodads.
Yep.
But
And
whatever.
Speaking of haters, so yeah, when I shared, I think it was the first. I'm not sure if it was the Jared Leto stills,
Mm.
or it could have been the first preview for that Snyder posted with black. So it's a bunch of clips. Then of course it ends black suit Superman, and then the second one he posted was a bunch of clips again with the
Yep.
lead. Some
It's Cyborg like shooting something, right?
that was
That's
the third. That was the third one. That was today.
Well, that was today.
But the second one that was released at the end of it shows Darkseid with the Sod and Granny Goodness. So, and then of course the third one today that we got, we get Wonder Woman in that action, I think, or then we get Batman standing on the War Machine, aka the Bat Tank, from the Dark Knight Returns, and then
the comic book Dark Knight Returns, not the movie
right. Well, that's Dark Knight Rises.
or whatever.
Yeah. So, and then we get a shot of Cyborg flying and like blasting who knows what. But yeah, so I'm pretty much doing damage control because there's a lot of people who are still misunderstanding what's going on with this movie. A lot of people commenting that we've already seen the movie. What's different than this, which they clearly don't understand.
Which is everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because they like how much footage, how much Joss Whedon footage was in the Justice League?
So he, according to this graph that I've been sharing, that has been making the rounds on social media. So, just looking for that graph. So from Justice League, the only so Justice League 2017 is not a Zack Snyder film because it contains only 30 minutes of scenes shot by Zack Snyder,
Okay.
which were
So
compromised in the
90
edition.
something percent.
Yeah, so the rest is reshoots by Joss Whedon. So with the Snyder cut, we're gonna see those same 30 minutes in the Snyder cut, but we're gonna see 3 hours and 30 more minutes of unseen footage. All shot by Zack Snyder, 0% of scenes shot by Joss Whedon. It's
Cool.
4 hours of a film with zero compromise, Zack Snyder's true vision.
Mhm.
Speaking of vision, one of these guys, because I commented with the quote, like with the all caps, lower caps, like the dumb SpongeBob meme that people would use, like, oh, but some I can't remember what I quoted, like something like, oh, it's the same movie, or it's
Right.
it's the same movie, right? I was mocking people who keep saying it's the same movie when it's clearly not. And then this guy replied like, oh, but this is Zack Snyder's vision, like Man of Steel was in BVS, right? Like he was mocking me too. And so I got the screenshot of what's his face from Avengers Infinity War, who plays Eerie the giant, Peter Dinklage. There's that meme of like, yes, because Thor says like, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna die, right? And then Eerie is like, well, yes, that's what that means. So I took that screenshot and then I just blurred the part. There's a word that I blurred that I erased, and I put it in director's cut, and because yes, that's what a director's cut means. That's the director's vision, right? That's why you get these director's cuts of these films. And then he like kept replying, and then anyway, I looked at his Facebook profile for whatever reason. I looked at his Facebook profile. I'm like,
Rage.
who is this guy? And then I see like
It's Jester.
he shared he shared a podcast. So I'm like, ooh, a podcast. What's that? So I look at the podcast, and then I see, of course, that he's a host of this podcast, which I'm not gonna name. Like, doesn't at least not right now. We'll see what happens, right? So I look at the podcast, I look on Spotify, and sure enough, it's there. And then there's 2 episodes. The first episode was uploaded sometime in January, called Movie News. Okay. The second episode is a DC retrospective. I'm
Why?
like, ooh. So I forwarded the link to you guys, and I started listening to it.
I didn't.
And that's why. So you can't really say much unless you listen to it. That's why I wanted you guys to listen to it, right? So you can really have your own.
If you're gonna do a podcast and one was in January and then the next one is something to shit on, like in the next year, then that podcast sucks. And I don't want to listen to a sucky ass
January of
podcast.
this year. January.
Oh, January this year. Okay.
Yes.
And you didn't listen to it, so hush now.
Exactly.
So I started listening to the DC retrospective, and they glaze over Man of Steel. They glaze over BVS. Lots of comparisons to Marvel movies, which from a certain perspective, I get it. It's inevitable. You're gonna compare it. But then there's also the mentioning of the box office, which is cool. I like stats. It doesn't matter to me how much a movie made. If I like the movie, I like the movie, right? And then the Rotten Tomatoes rating, which they held to such a high standard. So, I mean, it's one thing if you're gonna talk about how a movie did box office wise, but then a movie can still may not do so well at the box office, but may be well received nowadays in streaming or on home video. But of course now the numbers can be divided because now you've got a lot of people that stream and not as much people that maybe buy physical media, but whatever. So as I kept listening to it, like lots of hate, lots of negativity towards the DC universe, and lots of misinformation. Like in BVS, one of the guys says Wonder Woman wasn't even in the trailers but then she's in this movie. She's in BVS. How'd that happen? And I was like, wrong. Wonder Woman was heavily marketed in the trailers for Batman versus Superman. So that was already like a huge red flag because they're just spewing stuff and it's misinformation. It's incorrect. And yeah, they should have just called it the DC Marvel retrospective because they just couldn't stop jerking Marvel off every time, you know.
Yeah, like you were saying too, because I listen to the podcast because I
Right.
want to, you know. I think it was his co-host threw me for a red flag because every time he would talk about Man of Steel, for example, was one of the ones he mentioned. He said at first he liked it. But then it wasn't until after he found out the reviews of the movie that he then later changed his mind and said, yeah, it's bad. And then he did that same thing with another movie. I can't remember. It might have been Aquaman, but I
So
could be
it
totally
was
wrong.
it was for BVS.
Okay,
BVS, he liked it, and then later on he didn't like it.
that's right.
And then Shazam, he didn't like Shazam,
Right.
and then later he liked it.
Right. After
Odd, which is really odd.
based off and it because Batman vs Superman got bad ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, and then Shazam got good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right, right.
Yes.
And then there was a mention of DC has to stop the Jesus allegory to Superman because we got to stop comparing Superman to Jesus as a savior like figure because I don't fucking know. They only did it in Superman Returns and like Jester said on fucking Smallville and in the fucking comic books with Jim Lee, Superman issue number 204 where Superman goes to a priest in a Catholic church and talks to the priest because he feels like his sin was to save the world. Like fucking read a comic book. Fuck you guys.
And
who
see,
don't
that's what
fucking know your material.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling you. I was like, man, like I think I've only read one of the DC comic books, and I knew that in the comic books, what they're doing with the Jesus complex is correct. It's what they're showing in the comic books. And then they claim that they read comic books, but then they think that that's stupid and that they should stop doing that. And I'm like, dude, it's all over Superman.
So they're reading Marvel comic books then. So.
I don't know. They were mentioning about some that they had read that were DC, but I just
they're probably just like listening to comics explained on fucking YouTube and shit.
It was just weird how, because I understand that they have their opinions and that's fine, but like that's the thing that threw me for the curveball was that I didn't really believe their opinions were genuine because they were, at least his co-host kept flip flopping on what he liked and didn't like based off reviews, in my opinion. And then the DC complex with Superman and how they got to stop doing this and that. And I'm like, but that's how the comic books are. Why would they not stick to the source material?
And I don't understand. Okay, so you're on the comic book side, which is great. So let's talk about the movie side and it was mentioned. I don't understand how you can say that Wonder Woman wasn't advertised in that movie. If you do a basic second graders research and go to YouTube and look for the second official trailer of Batman v Superman, you could see that she's plastered all over there, but yet you said it wasn't advertised and it was a shock to you that she came into this movie. Well, unless you have the sight of Stevie Wonder or worse than I do, there's no way you couldn't have fucking seen it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense to me. And that makes me think about even furthermore where your credibility is. Because beyond the fact that you're not reading the comic books you claim you should be reading, you can't even do a basic second to third graders research on the topic you're talking about, which is a DC film. So that that sends red flags up real quick to me.
And it just, because, Mike had gotten this. I mean, you told the story before we started discussing this about how he kind of came at you about that whole post. And I remember the last 10 minutes of his podcast, he mentions how he made a joke. He said joke to somebody else that was like very similar about how, you know, the Snyder cuts is just a bunch of 12-year-olds, or like there's only like 12 fans that desperately wanted the Snyder cut, and he thinks it's stupid that they're even making it in the first place, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, why are you so like, why do you got such a hard on for
Well,
the
not for nothing.
Snyder cut failing?
12 fans couldn't have gotten this off the ground.
That's what I was telling Mike.
I'm sorry, but there's no way a giant conglomerate like Warner Brothers / HBO, they're not gonna go, oh, these 12, we're mad. These 12 guys are bitching and moaning. We're gonna make a Snyder cut. No, it takes a mass exodus of people to do it for a conglomerate like this to go, we better do something, or we're gonna start seeing some loss in the money in the breadbasket. Like, stop it.
They have to see profit before they just say, yeah, we'll do what the fans say. They have to see profit first.
Right.
Like, that's nonsense. That's patently ridiculous to think like that. That's childish mentality. It's absolutely childish to say that. Yep. Because really, if you believe that, you're a child.
Yeah. So 12 people, 12 angry guys on Twitter would not have been able to raise over $500,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in honor of Autumn Snyder, Zack Snyder's daughter, who passed not last year, but years ago. So in 2017. So yeah, and then speaking of credibility, as Pinhead mentioned, they even mentioned, like, what's the point of Zack Snyder's Justice League? What comes after this? We're only getting Batman next year, 2022, Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson. What's next? Well, as Pinhead mentioned, a second grade research, a quick little types of the strikes of the key on YouTube or Google would show them
DC projects
that the filming on Shazam 2, The Fury of the Gods, if I'm not mistaken, that's the title, Aquaman 2, and The Flash are supposed to begin filming this spring. So in a few months, they're supposed to begin. That's 3 DC movies that are supposed to begin filming, not including the Gotham Police series on HBO Max that will coincide with Matt Reeves' Batman, which they think is like the last DC movie for whatever reason. And their first episode, Movie News, I did not get to listen to everything, but I can guarantee probably there's a good chance that there's probably no mention of anything about upcoming DC films there, which clearly shows that there is not much thought put into doing proper research. So,
yep.
And I understand, like, because I listened to the whole thing. I understand some of their frustrations. I just don't. My frustrations are just the inconsistency with a plan. And we talked about this in previous podcasts about how I feel with how DC's handling things. And like, I would love to see Snyder's vision for everything. And that was one of the problems that I had, was like, they were just saying that they were dogging on him about how he's a bad director. And I'm like, I don't think he's a bad director. I think he's really talented if he doesn't have his hands tied behind his back all the time. Yep. And
so,
he's
and all he asked was 5 movies.
Hold on, not to interrupt you. There's a difference between a retrospective and a bash fest.
Right.
So we can educate. What's a retrospective?
Please
An retrospective. We got the dictionary definition of it. Okay, because we like to educate here. So here we go. An adjective: looking back on or dealing with past events or situations. A noun: an exhibition or compilation showing the development of the works of a particular artist over a period of time. That's a retrospective. There's a difference between that and a bash fest where, well, I don't like this because he did that. That's fine. That's your opinion. That's not a retrospective. We got to go over the definition again for those in the cheap seats. It's really not that hard.
I mean, here's the thing. They went through all the movies. So I guess on that point of definition,
That's the bare minimum. So
They
you want to
glazed-
go over the bare minimum and what the definition of that is?
No, we don't.
Okay.
I'm just saying that they went over all of them, but the thing is, they only glazed over the bad stuff. I mean, they glazed over all the movies, and then they only discussed about how trashy they were. And I was like, dude, why? What's the point? Why would you just? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I don't really want to give these guys the time of day sometimes because when I was listening to the podcast, I didn't believe their opinions. It just felt like it was the hot take, and then they just said what was popular.
So is it worth my time to listen to this podcast?
If you didn't listen to it now,
doesn't
then I
matter
would say
now.
no. Yeah, I would say no. Forget it.
Because like as soon as I found out that Mike was steamed about this fucking guy or the podcast, I was just like, it's not really worth my time because Mike never gets hot and bothered by anything.
To his defense,
Because normally Mike is pretty level headed when it comes to things.
Yeah.
Because he can articulate an argument.
Yeah, of course.
So, but when Mike gets triggered, like, and I've never seen him like triggered like this much about a movie,
Right.
and for him to get triggered like this because of all the hate and stuff, and I'm like, oh, so I guess
I will say in
they're
his defense,
they're amping up their hate like right now.
I will say in his defense, his triggered nature, and it was triggered. He was triggered as fuck. It was still far more. It was still far more level-headed than any topic they had to say.
I know
Any debate they had to say.
But-
It was nonsensical garbage that, like I said, we passed it off as a retrospective, and we talked about this whole lineage of this and that, but you didn't do research on certain topics that, okay, that's fine. You don't like the Jesus narrative and this and that and other thing. You don't, but you completely glossed over the nuance and this and that. And doing that, your credibility goes out the window. I don't like The Last of Us Part 2. That's no secret. But I still understand why people enjoy it. There's nuance there. There's subtle things that happen there that I can understand why they enjoyed it. I don't agree with it, but so does that now mean I get to go on an hour and a half rant about The Last of Us and call it a retrospective and say, this is a retrospective of The Last of Us Part 2. However, fuck The Last of Us Part 2. Fuck Neil Druckmann. Fuck the boat. Fuck Abby. That's not a retrospective. That's not a retrospective. That's my bias against the game. And if I have a bias against something, and it doesn't matter, as a critic, because that's what we are. We're glorified critics. As a critic, as anyone with integrity, as a podcaster, a content creator, anywhere with integrity, if you have that much of a bias towards something like let's say John Cena, that's why I'm not watching Peacemaker, because I know my bias will come through and it might damage that. If I have that much of a bias, then you need to step out and not do it. Have the integrity to step out and not do it then.
I just didn't like how he went after Mike over on Facebook, like over
that too.
a post that he liked. It was just really immature, and that's why we're even here.
Yeah. So, and then with that, I didn't even feel like he was really going after me. But I'm willing to keep replying and hey, okay, that's you say that's his vision, and it is. That's what a director's cut means. Holy shit. So
I mean, if he doesn't know what a director's cut is, then he doesn't know his elbow from his ass.
Right.
So
so Pinhead mentions that the fact that he doesn't like Last of Us Part 2, but he also understands why people like the game, that there are those people that like it and enjoy it. So at one point during the retrospective, I think the co-host even mentioned I don't understand why people would even like any of Zack Snyder's films or any of these films. And I was like, it's one thing if you don't like it, that's fine, that's your opinion. But the fact that you're just generalizing now and just assuming that people wouldn't like any of these films, proven that people obviously there's a population out there that do enjoy these films and that are clearly supporting it. Like, it just shows the ignorance, basically. So I have started writing basically a thesis on their entire and I still have to send it. So I will be sending it this week. I think especially now I'm gonna wait, of course, till after the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League is officially out, because I'll be able to add more to that as well. But it's just really interesting to see all the haters who are clearly coming at as if they've seen this 4-hour movie and it's meh. Don't waste your
Yeah,
time.
it hasn't even come out yet. Not for nothing. Like,
Exactly.
seriously, it's not even out yet. And
And
you're
then-
bitching and moaning.
And then every time I share on Facebook in a Facebook group, every time I share one of the teases that Snyder has shared, there's always some guy who's commenting, "Oh, they're doing trailers for a trailer now." And I'm like, where the fuck have you been? This is nothing new. They've been doing this for years.
Man, you didn't bitch about that when they did it with Endgame, did you?
Exactly. And
Wait, what do you think? What do you
You
think is
didn't bitch
the
about that when
shit
they
at
did
the
it with your
end?
Fast and the Furious movies that you love to pump money into so much, did you?
right.
Right?
For other movies, they would even just show like less. What we're getting from Snyder from these teases is actually more. I've seen remember like a Fast and Furious preview for like the trailer for like they only showed like literally like 5 seconds, but
Yeah.
it's enough to get people excited and hyped to see the full trailer and be like, I'm gonna go watch that when it comes out. I mean, holy shit! Like,
I mean, what are you bitching about? You should be happy. Us Mortal Kombat fans over here are still waiting for a fucking trailer. So what are you bitching about? We
Right.
can't even get it yet.
yep.
So you haven't even seen the movie yet, and you're crying and moaning. Like, stop.
No, they're complaining about like the teaser trailers and shit. Like, what do you think post credit scenes are?
Exactly.
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 Oh, but they love
Amen.
it. Oh, those are
Oh yeah,
good.
they love
Those
that
are
shit.
good.
Well, that doesn't count because a lot of times it's Marvel.
No, but again, like with these type of things, like with all the hate, like I told you, Mike, and I told you guys before, on the private chat, like I'm gonna ignore it, just because of the fact that like it's just gonna it's just gonna piss you guys off. You guys are gonna have gray beards and shit like that. Like look at me, look at the amount of vitriol and hate that I've done over the years, and I'm fucking gray as hell right now.
Not me. That's why I shave. So
So I'm trying to look. I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm looking forward to the trailer tomorrow or in a few hours. If haters are gonna hate, that's fine. I don't care. It does, like like it's not gonna sway me left or right. Or don't watch it because like Rotten Tomatoes gave it 24. That's why I'm very sarcastic when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, Mike.
Right.
One of your fans reacted in a non-positive way because I said that.
You didn't get the joke.
Yeah,
Or she didn't get the joke.
she didn't get the joke because I said RT equals 24%.
I had to explain to her that's always the same thing you comment every time I share something from a DC film.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score 24%.
Because that's what BVS was for them, and I was just like,
don't
excuse me,
speak against our gods.
excuse me, like I
But
was just
That's
like,
why I said they're a bunch of fucking RoboCops, and you need to come off your prime directives because it's fucking it up in your real life.
Right.
You miss these good films that are out there across the board by everyone who really really agree that these are good films, but Rotten Tomatoes didn't certify fresh, so I ain't gonna go see it. Or the opposite direction where it might be okay, but fuck that movie because Rotten Tomatoes said it was garbage, so now it's garbage to me. And you talk about hive mind. You're a bunch of fucking RoboCops that need to grow up.
Yeah.
That movie's great, but it doesn't work in reality. We've seen it time and time again. It doesn't work. So keep up the prime directives, RoboCops, because you're all going to get manufacturally shut down sooner or later.
they're nitpicking about like continuity errors. They're nitpicking about how dark side looks, they're nitpicking about like, oh, that's not, like Superman is, like that's not the Superman that I know. He's full of hate. He's full of, he's wearing black, and you saw that tweet, right?
Yep.
And I was like, motherfucker, that's, I get, obviously he hasn't seen Injustice or read the comic book that has Earth 3 in it.
Oh yeah, they said that I guess I'm just gonna wait for Superman and Lois TV show to look at my Superman. But then in that Superman, he's also using his heat vision. Like what? Superman can't get mad. He can't feel any emotion, or he can't like what the hell?
Like
And on that note, to add into that, there's critics out because I've read an article. Someone's already doing it to try and kick into the big screen Superman where they go because they've seen the Superman and Lois series already, and they're already praising it. And I heard one. I read the article where one critic said, "This is the exact reason why Superman works better on the small screen, and the big screen needs to give it up." I'm like, okay, here we go.
No.
That right off the bat, that shows your bias.
Red
and you
flag
need to
already.
step out. You're like,
Right.
this is pathetic. Grow up.
So there's a tweet here from Jason Kyler. He's a CEO for Warner Media. He tweeted this 5 hours ago. A prediction. Fans are going to really enjoy the trailer. Will be fun to see the response over the next 24 hours. HBO Max has its game on. So there you go. But yeah, they're going to be anticipating also the reaction.
Who was that?
Jason Kyler. He's a Warner Media CEO.
Jason Kyler?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hide into your bomb shelter because they're going to come for you for giving positivity. So just be prepared.
Mike, one indication that I know that this trailer, this movie is going to be awesome. There's somebody that I follow on Twitter, absolutely fucking dislikes. He was okay with Man of Steel, dislikes Batman versus Superman.
Uh-huh.
Wonder Woman was good. Everything else is like meh at best, right?
Yeah.
When he saw the Snyder cut, or the teaser with the Superman,
Uh-huh.
with the Superman fucking doing the thing,
Right.
he was like, "Whoa, holy shit!" That was his reaction.
Yeah.
And all of his fans, all of his followers were like, "Whoa, what's going on? Like, why did you change your heart?" And then he says, "I am intrigued by this. I'm looking forward to seeing
Who's this?
the trailer."
Kuya, just give it up. You know you're talking about Jeff.
No.
No, I'm not.
No,
Who
it's
is
like
this?
like
On
he's like a friend, friend of mine on Twitter that has he does a little bit of Twitch streaming and stuff.
What's the Twitter handle? I'm curious.
His believe it's Betoni, BETONI _.
It's
He
Jester.
he
He's lying.
he absolutely loves whatchamacallit, Henry Cavill as Superman. He says he's absolutely perfect
Uh-huh.
for Superman. Man of Steel was good. Everything else was like, yeah, meh at best, except for Wonder Woman, just because like like he was mad because like in Batman versus Superman, the reason he didn't like it as much, it was because Henry Cavill was only there for like 42 minutes. So I was just like, eh.
Yeah, so I'm looking at his he retweeted Zack Snyder's tweet of that first tease with Steppenwolf, and then at the end of it, we see the big Omega symbol,
Yeah.
the Batmobile in action, Wonder Woman, and then the last one is Superman in the black suit firing his heat vision. So Bettoni tweeted, hair flapping, cape flapping, body equals ready.
Yep.
So
He's
By
looking
the
forward
way,
to-
since I'm Pinhead, which Henry Cavill movie which Hellraiser movie was Henry Cavill in? Because he got a big start there in Hellraiser,
was it 4?
way past that one.
Oh shit, really? He was in an earlier one?
He was in a later one because 4 is
later one.
Bloodline.
Oh, okay.
That's cool. I
Oh,
didn't know that.
did you guys hear that Jason Momoa is in Witcher 2 or season 2?
No, I didn't hear that.
Is that true?
I don't know. I thought
Or
it
is
was
that
just a rumor.
hearsay?
No, I thought it was a rumor, but I'm not sure because he's gonna play like one of the Witchers. So that would be kind of cool. But again, I'm gonna ignore everybody that's gonna hate on it. Just if they're gonna hate, that they have every right to do so. If people want to hate on it, that's cool. If they want to hate on the trailer, that's cool. If they want to hate on the movie, that's cool. I want to see the movie because like Zack Snyder deserves to his vision needs to be seen,
Right.
whether it be good or bad, fantastic, sucky, or like the best movie or the worst movie ever. He as a director, as an artist, deserves his work to be shown. That's my thought on it. If people doesn't see it otherwise, then I'm sorry, they're wrong. So
Yep. Alrighty. Well, that's pretty much all I have, unless you guys have anything else to share.
Malcolm and Marie, absolutely fantastic movie.
Let me
Go
see your
watch it.
hands, Kuya. I can hear something. Okay, there you go.
Uh,
Show me
So-
your hands, buddy.
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, Malcolm and Marie, absolutely fantastic movie. Again, if they deserve all, if they get awards nominated for this movie, they deserve all of it. So it's just the portrayals of the characters are absolutely powerful and mesmerizing. So I've seen it twice already, and I'm probably gonna watch it one more time, just cause. Yep. And yeah, for Valentine's Day, go watch Old Boy. So
Hell yeah. Or the Human Centipede.
yeah, just
As
don't
usual.
don't watch the Spike Lee version. Watch the real Korean version of Old Boy. Don't be a MCU asshole. Okay.
And doesn't that have like one of the greatest one shots in like cinema history?
The Korean version, yeah,
Yeah, dude, amazing. Oh my gosh.
yeah. It the scene that they did it in or the scene that Spike Lee did in for him his version of the one shot,
Yeah.
horrible, because there's like actually multiple shots.
There's stitching, right? Yeah, they stitched it instead of.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the one in Korea is like the one. It's one shot.
Yeah, that's incredible. An incredible scene.
Love it.
Alrighty.
I gotta bring up Judas and the Black Messiah. That was a great film, and I highly recommend it. I think it might be close to my favorite film now, and it was Malcolm and Marie, but this one is like slowly edging it out, barely. And secondly, I have to put this on there. I have to give a shout out to my boy FilmakerMike, thanking him for these Lady Gaga Oreo cookies right here.
Nice.
Haven't opened them yet. I'm kind of like debating if I'm going to, but I might.
What's that? Raspberry flavored? It looks pink.
You should try them. Do an IG live.
I might do an IG live tonight, but pink colored golden cookies with green cream.
Dude, make sure you like.
That's Lady Gaga all the way. Woo!
Make sure you lick the filling sensually too. I expect nothing less than
Then
that.
you better watch it, baby.
I'll be your very happy viewer for sure.
So- but that's my spiel. I'm done.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very
Oh yeah,
happy.
of course. Alrighty. Anything else?
Chester, do you have anything? Why do you have Vikings in the back? Did you finish it finally?
I haven't. I'm still finishing it. That will be my first YouTube review. Will be Vikings, the full series review.
So are they doing? So it's not bingeable. They're doing week by week, correct?
No, it is completely finished.
It's
I'm-
done.
you're
It's done
just
already.
procrastinating.
no.
Okay.
I'm an
He
absolute
thought he
moron.
finished it.
Yeah, I was an
Oh,
idiot.
that's right. Yes, right. You told me about that. That's right.
Yeah, I was.
But
an
it
absolute
is
moron.
like you do have the complete season to your disposal.
yes
Hulu,
on
yeah.
on Amazon Prime. The final season is only available on Amazon Prime. It's an exclusive.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so it is on Hulu though, but not the last season. Yeah, I think that's it, right? That's all I need to say. Oh, I
Mike?
did want to say real quick that I appreciate this wonderful podcast for us to be able to come on here and share our opinions, and I love you guys.
Eat a dick.
I love it.
Only
I
if it's
will-
yours, Kuya. Oh yeah.
I will say I agree with
No, I'm kidding.
Jester, and I love each and every one of you too, especially you, Jester. And if I do unbox these Lady Gaga Oreo cookies, I will definitely be thinking about you when I'm licking them.
Oh
so.
yeah, baby.
There you
Thank you.
Uh,
Oh yeah, love you guys too. You guys are awesome. I'm glad we're
you-
able
you
to,
guys-
to do this.
this like my wife and my family. I mentioned to them about the podcast. First question one of my family members asked was like, "Oh, your podcast? You're getting paid for it?" No.
Yeah, no.
It's like, so why do you do it? Um, it relaxes my mind because my mind is like a whirling hurricane, typhoon, cyclone of random thoughts, and this podcast helps me put it in a direction. Whether it be a good thought or a bad thought, it's still it points me that way. So I appreciate Mike for having me. I appreciate Jester for giving me shit, and I apologize for if I'm a little over the top on certain shit. And Pinhead, brother, I love you.
Love you
You're
too, man.
you're one of the most gracious, generous people in the world, and I'm still using your Disney Plus. So I appreciate
problem,
that.
man.
Don't say that.
At this point, you're the only reason why I'm keeping it. You and MMA are the only reason why I'm keeping it. Cause
I know because it's part of the package.
yep.
Oh, and then I realized because since Hulu is part of the package, the R-rated Disney movies can be in like Deadpool is in
Yep.
Hulu.
That's what I'm. That's where they should be pushed, like that and Aliens and all that.
Yeah.
And I'd also
So-
like to say on a side note to all my the wrestling listeners out there, we have a huge event for to counteract your loneliness at Valentine's Day for this bullshit ass so-called holiday.
Oh, rub one out.
You know, you don't really need to rub one out at this point because we got an exciting event with NXT tomorrow. Check it out. It's gonna be very exciting, and I'll be doing I think I'll do an IG live afterwards. So doing my
Alright.
review on it.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I'm gonna I'll see you guys in a few hours, I guess.
Yep. I forgot about that.
I don't know, maybe. But before that, I'm gonna fill my mouth with Brazilian meats.
That's
'Cause,
hot. Thank you for
yeah,
telling me that.
my wife and I are gonna
I
go
would-
to Churrascaria, and I'm gonna eat all the meats that I see and devour them.
I wish I was Brazilian meats. He never talks
Right.
about.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh man, I can't.
I'll be licking Lady Gaga's cream over here.
All righty. Well, thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow us on our social accounts, especially for the show. So on Instagram at FMAMDTB. And then on Facebook, you can follow us on Facebook at FilmakerMike and the Boys. Just search FilmakerMike and the Boys, and the page should come up. And then, of course, on Twitter at FMAMDTB Podcast. And then, of course, you guys can follow me on Instagram at FilmakerMike. Jester.
Yeah, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the works. Follow me, and yeah, we'll see. I'll bring out content hopefully weekly everywhere. And Pinhead, go ahead.
You can find me on the usual Instagram at Pinhead198. Now we're off and running on the same name on my YouTube channel.
Woohoo!
I highly recommend subscribing because we're gonna be going fast and furious with the content here pretty soon. So especially with us hitting heavy wrestling season, we don't have much of a choice. So especially if you're a wrestling and horror fan, get on that. So, cool you.
I have a only fans account called
Hell yeah.
Elfin Titties.
BrazilianMeats.com.
And then
Yeah.
Elfin Titties and Brazilian Meats.
Nice.
So
Sign me up, baby.
Jesse needs to get on his OnlyFans.
yeah, Instagram, Old Man Jimmy, Jimi. There's 3 pictures now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome, right?
He's on his way.
I'm keeping up with my content.
Hey.
No, I've been distracted by that Instagram model that I follow because she's in Cabo San Lucas right now and wearing a bikini. So
Uh-oh.
Ba-boing.
Uh-oh.
she's okay.
Uh-oh.
For her to distract you. So yeah, make sure you guys also follow us on Facebook, and who knows, if we get enough people, we can also start a Facebook group. We can have people share, stuff there, memes and all the good stuff. Maybe we can even do polls and have interaction with listeners there as well. So, but we can't do that without you guys following the page so that we can see there's enough interest. And also make sure, if you're listening to us on Spotify, make sure to tap on that follow button so you can follow the show, and then you can even turn on the alert so that every time a new episode uploads on Spotify, if that's what you're listening to us on, then it'll let you know that there's a brand new episode available and you can listen to it as you please. And then on iTunes as well, make sure to write a review, long or short, whatever it is, just be honest and make it good. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening. Till next time, we'll be back.
So long.
Later.
Peace.